All right, let me get Oh damn, you gotta let me load it up, brother.
That's all.
SUC in the building.
Yeah. We working over here, son. We're about that work over here at the source.
Hey man, we back-to-back debates. Y'all know what channel y'all need to subscribe to get the best content, man, when it comes to this. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Source Debate League on YouTube. And if you want to interact with us, come to the Facebook group on Facebook, the Source Debate League, and actually leave a comment and tell us, do you want to be a debater or you want to be a judge? You know what I'm saying? Interact with us and we'll see your comment and we'll try to integrate you into the system. And then the next debate could be you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let us know. And we can work that out, man, because we need brothers from all walks, all lives, you know what I'm saying, that can come in and substantiate their claims and ain't afraid, you know what I'm saying, to do their thing on here on the source. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We encourage you to transition from being a keyboard warrior to being an actual warrior. All right.
Facts. We got enough of that going on, man. So let's see if you got the testicular fortitude to stand on your claims. Anybody can go on Facebook and have a comment battle, man. Ain't no pressure to that. Ain't no rules, ain't no regulations. You don't got to show and prove. You can just go on there.
Play hard to believe, man.
You want hard to believe?
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
Appreciate it, man.
That joint on YouTube too, right?
Yeah. Need me to send it to you?
I got it.
Yeah, man. If you're an artist, man, you want us to play your music on here, man, reach out to us. Right? We love to hold the family down.
Yeah, as long as there's no yin yang twin stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, we finna get it rocking and rolling, man. Let's go. Everybody mute your mic.
Different breed when I walk in the streets. Watch your mouth when you talking to me, yeah. Phony niggas make it harder to lead. They know I'm real, but it's hard to believe, yeah. You a lot different than I thought you was. For some reason, it be hate, that's the normal plug. Cause I'm out here shining like I'm selling drugs. When they meet the spirit of brotherhood, then they fall in love. Talking Jeremiah, that's a real one there. If you talking ill, it leave them shocked like electric chair. I guess being real is so rare, I'm a pioneer. A lot of these niggas half real. Hemisphere. Judge a tree by the fruity bear. You tell me how it feels in the atmosphere. I'ma keep climbing these peaks like a mountaineer. 400 feet home run. I'm out of here. Because I'm tired of the BS. Need a navigation system, GPS. Niggas always got extra words like PS. But I ain't playing none of these games like PS. I'm a leader, but I ain't asking you to follow me. Because in the midst of the congregations where the powers be. You wanna find a little hate, go to a solemn feast. The next day, 20 videos talking bad about me. I'm floating like a butterfly, but they singing like the name is Ali. It ain't really bad until they know you're something. Looking at you mean like you own something. Walk across the room and I ask you, want a soda, son? Damn, man. Why you so mad, brother? Cheer up, man. Y'all wish y'all coming back soon, brother. For real. Different breed when I walk in the streets. Watch your mouth when you talking to me, yeah. Phony niggas make it harder to lead. They know I'm real, but it's hard to believe, yeah. For some strange reason, dudes feel I'm a threat. I'm something like LeBron, I just want my respect. But the shine is so bright, dudes feeling neglect. You better go to the closet and get your spirit in check. Don't let the Lord snatch your collar, might be snapping your neck. And I'll be speaking at your wake. Call it cause and effect. Remove the hate for your brother, he might be calling you next. I hope these words from my heart might be cause and reflect. Cause in your heart is what's fueling for the problems be. You're showing pride and don't repent. It really bothers me. Cause in your heart is supposed to be where the Father be. Prepare for war, but your heart is what's battling. I can feel it in the air, the hate from some, cause I'm flashy like Vegas, but not Benny or Bugsy Siegel. I live in Oklahoma like Machine Gun Kelly, eating M&M's for respect like Machine Gun Kelly. You wanna give orders, but can't take orders. Waiting for the great wall of Trump, cause we got cross borders. Set parameters, so I never take a loss. Till then, never cross the gun line, boss. Cause I'm the pappy, it makes me happy to talk down on the brother, to keep you laughing. Even though I'm being facetious, these niggas vicious. You can't stop spreading rumors, it seems delicious. Different breed when I walk in the streets. Watch your mouth when you talking to me, Phony niggas make it harder to leave. They know I'm real, but it's hard to believe, Different breed when I walk in the streets. Watch your mouth when you talking to me, Phony niggas make it harder to leave. They know I'm real, but it's hard to believe,
Yeah. Source, man, we in the building, man. Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas. Tanks on the ground, 7 gang. That's what we doing over here, man. Back for another one. Right? So, as usual, man.
Yeah, you on mute, CEO.
Yo, for those that don't know, man, my name is Yasharahla. Please say the Yah. I am the Source Debate League Legacy Champ. I'm also the CEO of the Source, man. And we're working diligently over here, man, to bring forth the scholarship on the scholastic level, right? To, raise the vibration of our people. And we got another hot button topic in the Hebrew Israelite community. The brothers want to substantiate and prove which is the proper way to keep the Shabbat. Is it sunrise to sunrise, or is it sunset to sunset, right? So, we got some powerful brothers in the building, right? Shout out to the Source Debate League champion, Scholastic Bully. Talk to us, family.
Yeah, 7 gang in the building. Scholastic Bully, y'all know who I be. I'm here to see a good one between these two brothers. You know what I'm saying? They about to get it in. They get involved and got to the next level where they gonna stand in the ring and face their opponent. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. We want to see that scholastic edge. Who gonna come out victorious? You know what I'm saying? So I want to see swords clashing against shields and shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to see all of it. I want to see gladiator. I want you brothers to be on gladiator mode tonight. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold back and put on the show for the people. Source up.
That's right, man. We're sourcing up, man. We're looking at the information. We got a powerful list of judges here, man. Right? I want to introduce to the law and to the testimony. Pro Rizzo in the building, man. Talk to us, family.
All right, folks. As usual, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them, folks. All right. I'm looking for shalom to the panel, shalom to the room, shalom to the audience. Leil told to you all. Hallelujah. Folks, to my debaters, I hope that you all present your information clear, concisely. You have a time limit. Try to stay to the subject if you can. Give us good, credible sources, folks. Blessings to you both. This is Pro Rizzo 1. I'm off the mic.
That's right, man. We also got the middleweight champion in the building, right? Coming off of a victory last night, laying the smackdown on Candy ass, the Texas Rattlesnake, the middleweight champion in the building. Talk to us, family.
Man, what the business is, man, the Gold Coast Gorilla up in here, man, like he say, straight off of victory. Man, I don't get tired. You understand? Anybody out there won't smoke, I'm going to set you on fire. You understand? So, Jasu, I'm coming for that belt, man. That belt going to look good around my waist. Man, you know what? I already got some wardrobe to match it. So, it's coming home. It's coming back over here, bro. You understand me? Hey, I want to see a good fight. I want to see y'all, man. I want to see y'all go in on the information, man. Because if y'all got to step to me, man, King Self ain't finna play with you. I ain't finna talk nice to you. I'm gonna beat you across your head with books. That's what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
With that, man, hey, salute, man. Shout out to the source, Hing Heretic, Gold Coast Gorillas. You understand? Tanks on the ground. Say, man, y'all stay up. Hey, I want to see this. I want to see a good fight. That's all I want to see.
Right, man. Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas, man, doing their thing, man. Right. Last but not least, put some respect on this man's name. You want to go one-on-one with the great one, Jihad in the building. Talk to us, family. I see you trying to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me?
That's right. Commissary is necessary. Talk to us, family.
Yeah, it's your brother from another like no other. Your boy G going hard in the card, man. You know, shout out to the source. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for coming out, man, to be with us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It's gonna be a good show. Fun. Let's go and do this.
That's right, man. All right, man. So without further ado, man, which one of you brothers is going first? We got 3 15-minute rounds. You're going to be allowed to bring forth your information without interruption. Then we're going to have a question and answer segment where you brothers are going to be able to ask each other direct questions on your information. You're going to get 3 questions apiece. Then we're going to the judges. Right before we get to the judges, we're going to allow the people to speak and allow them to cast their vote on who they think won this debate. All right. But ultimately, it's up to the judges, man. So which one of you brothers is going first? You're on mute.
I said I can go.
Okay. No sweat, man. Hold up, man. I just seen the founder of the source in the building, man. Let me get his introductions in, man. Shout out to General Yashar, man. Talk to us, family. You're on mute, General. All right, man. So without further ado, we're gonna go and turn it over to the brother, man. Phinehas, talk to us, man. It's on you, man. The time starts when you start.
Hold up. Let me because this is my first time doing this StreamYard.
Yeah.
So how do I share my screen?
All right, so go down at the bottom of the screen. It says mic. It says camera. Then it should say screen share.
I'm on an iPad. Is that problematic?
Okay. No, hit the touch the screen at the bottom. It should come up. You should get those options at the bottom where it says mic, camera, screen share. You see it?
No, I just see mic, cam, mic settings, chat, and then leave.
Okay.
Yeah, he got to be like on the laptop, bro, to where he can.
I'm able to share from my phone. If I'm on my phone, I can share. So
okay.
Why wouldn't it share from an iPad?
I mean, that's what I thought too. But when I did mine, it was the same thing. But you know, hey, he might be able to do it. Can you get on the laptop, brother?
You got access to a laptop, man?
Yeah, I do.
I know you got all that money you got over there, brother. I know what you got going on, brother.
Give me 1 second.
But yeah, while he holding on, I'm gonna talk to this man Jashub real quick. Jashub, man, you the ultimate warrior, and I'm Hulk Hogan, brother. I'm coming, brother. You understand? Just like Hulk Hogan would say, brother, I'm coming to put the smack down on your candy ass. You understand? That's what I'm coming to do. That's my belt. It's temporarily yours. You understand? And Jashub, Jeremiah, I don't know what you laughing for, because I'm finna get that one too. I need that one too. I need Heretic to be on all that.
What you need, brother?
I want that belt. You looking mighty swiffy and all that gold too. You looking real good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna bullshit. You looking like a real Egyptian right there. You looking like a real Egyptian. I ain't gonna
Something
lie.
to clean my You get something to clean my gold over here, man. What you need, King Chef? Talk to me, man. See if I can help you out.
I saw you looking like a real
Huh?
Egyptian over there.
Shout
You
it
looking
up
like
for me,
you looking like a
King
real
Chef.
pharaoh. You looking like a real pharaoh. That's my belt. Yeah, shine my belt up. Shine my belt up.
This is gonna be a good debate. When does Sabbath begin? Does it begin when the night starts? Or does it begin when the sun rises? Very interesting discussion. Very interesting view.
You're on mute.
I really am interested in hearing the scriptural exegesis of this. I will be looking at that myself as a judge. You know, you guys, y'all gonna have some work to do, but we will be unbiased tonight. So, who are we waiting on? We waiting on Joshua? Or we waiting on? It looks like Jeremiah has left the building, so we'll give them a few moments, folks. Apologies for the delays, but we have got to have we have to have at least one of the moderators back here to set the premise for the debate and the time for the debate. Now let's talk about y'all rules. If y'all guys agreed on the actual rules of the debate, how many minutes you're going per round? Is it 10 minutes or 15 minutes? Phineas?
3 15-minute rounds and then
yeah, that's correct.
A rapid fire.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose we can go ahead and get started.
I'm still trying to get set up because of the iPad situation not working.
Okay.
Hey Don, tell them about
it
the
on iOS. My laptop. I got it. My presentation on Keynote.
So Keynote.
Hey Don, go ahead and do your business. And Don, hey, tell them about the upcoming things that we got upcoming. You know what I'm saying? About our future debates and Joshua, the champion, and what I got going, and everything that you got going.
Okay.
Let them know.
Oh, Jeremiah's back. Welcome back, Op. Jeremiah's back.
I'm back.
I can keep the time. I can't keep the time. Do y'all have any preferences for your timing?
No, I mean I could do it.
You got it?
Unless you
That's fine.
Yeah, it's just 3 15-minute times, man. The clock don't stop unless we're having some technical difficulties.
All right, you got it, bro. I'm muting out.
All right, man. So Joshua jumped off too. All right, man. So we're waiting on the brother to get lined up over here.
Right.
Right.
He had some issues with his PowerPoint. It's not pulling up for him. So decided we'll give him a few minutes to see if we can get it together or see if we can make some alternative motions for him.
All right, man. So we got.
Can you email it? Hey, can you email it to Jeremiah? Can you email it and you can talk off your iPad and you can just tell him each next slide? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can email it.
Okay, email your presentation to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, he's finna email it, and then he gonna share his screen, and you just go off Jeremiah's screen, and whenever you need the next slide presented, just say next slide.
All right, my email is in the private chat.
Let's take some questions from the audience.
Hold on, Don. But hey, I want to say this before we take the questions.
Okay.
Before we do this, y'all need to let us know what type of system y'all on, what kind of things that y'all have going on with y'all presentation. If they need to be emailed to the moderator, if they need to be emailed to anybody, so y'all can show the presentation. That's one thing that we do require at the source. This is not no favoritism or anything like that. We do this for everybody. because we're trying to up the scholarship and up the scholastic stuff within the conscious community.
Right.
So this is our goal. So please, brothers, if y'all want to debate on the source platform, please let us know if y'all need to email us y'all presentations or y'all are able to show y'all presentations. Y'all need to let us know that. Now go ahead, Don.
Okay, Maximiliano Diaz. My question is, when it is morning, are we mourning the loss of the moon because you follow lunar calendar, and when it's evening, it's beginning the birth of the return of the moon? That's a very fascinating question, Diaz. This is not about following the moon. This is about whether or not the Sabbath begins when the sun goes down or when the sun goes up. I hope that answers your question, because this is not about the moon at all.
Right,
This
right,
is
right.
a solar watch.
Right. It's about a timekeeping. Right.
Right. This is about the sun being a timepiece.
Right.
So it's not like the moon. It's not about the birth of the moon. So I want you guys out there in the audience to be aware and be cognitive of what the debaters are actually having contention about. So I thought we'd do that while we're trying to get the brother opportunity to resolve the technical issues and see if we can get this on straight. Shout out to Lance Single. We see you back there.
Yeah, man. We got you got to turn your camera on, Lance, in order for me to bring you on. We got a question for the middleweight champion. Shout out to Anonymous Hebrew. He says, ask King Seth, is he taking any debates other than Joshua?
Hey, see, I know Anonymous Hebrew, but he think I don't know him. You understand? I know exactly who he is, and that's my brother. But I will beat the brake pads off of my brother and love you after I beat the shit out your ass. So if you want to fade this heat, and I know who you is, you understand? I will fade that heat, brother. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing that ain't.
There we go.
Stop it.
Right.
Very good. Let's see what else we got. Shalom, John Doe. I see you back there. You definitely are very chatty in the chat. That's what's up. Let no man therefore judge you in what you eat or drink in regard to a feast, new moon, or a Sabbath. And now that's interesting. Yeah, that is a very interesting point. I would think that Paul was talking about the Gentiles. But to get into a hermeneutical exegesis of that, I don't want to throw my opponents off for this. But I'm sure you have a point for bringing that up, John Doe. Would you mind maybe responding to that in the chat? And if it is a serious question concerning the debaters and their topic, we'll definitely address that after the show, okay? After the debate is over with.
Yeah, let me say this real quick. I think both debaters would agree with this, man. We're law keepers, right? So we are trying our best to apply the guidance and the instructions and the cultural practice of our ancestors. And you had, during the time of Christ, you had our people becoming bloodthirsty, and it would be like the social event of the day, who was getting stoned, you understand? And so it was leading to a lot of backbiting, betrayal, tail-bearing, and different practices that were leading to the destruction. And not only that, you had the Sanhedrin infiltrated by the Herodian dynasty, the descendants of Herod, which were of Idumean stock. So you had Idumeans that were in the Pharisaical ranks and other seats within the Sanhedrin within itself, and they were utilizing the Most High law to destroy the children of Israel. And so when you go to Colossians chapter 2, starting at the 14th verse, it tells you about, and I'll read it real quick. It says here, this is Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 2, it says, come on, sir. All right, Colossians chapter 2, verse 14 says, blotting out the handwriting of ordinance that was against us, which were contrary to us, right? Which were contrary to us, nailing it to the cross, right? So what was against us, right? What was against us was keeping the Sabbath, the weekly Sabbath. Was that something that was contrary to us? Was keeping the feast days. Was that something that was contrary to us? Was that something that was harming us? Keeping the cultural practices, just the dress code and the dietary laws. Was that contrary to us? Did that harm us? What harmed us? The death part, killing us, killing Israelites for making mistakes, right? So if you was found in the act of adultery, if you were found in the act of breaking the Shabbath, these are things that was worthy of death. So that is what was contrary to us, family, the death part, right? So what Christ did openly, verse 15, and having spoiled the principalities and powers, which were those that was in rulership. Who was in rulership? Herod and the Herodian dynasty, which infiltrated the Sanhedrin, utilizing the Most High law against the children of Israel. So you had the Greeks at that time that were bringing in carnivals and certain festivities, right? Bringing in gyms and exercise facilities, bringing in Greek culture. And what they would do is they would infuse that upon the people, invite people to come. And when the Sanhedrin or the Pharisees found Israelites breaking the law, right, on behalf of the Greeks, they would call them to the side, call them out, come on out here so we can stone you to death. And the Israelites themselves, feeling that they know and they understood, they would voluntarily give their life over to them because they always lived with the law at that time. So they understood that they broke the law. These are in certain cases. I'm not saying every case was this way. I'm giving you an example of what was going on during that dispensation of time. You have verse 15 saying what? And having spoiled the principalities and powers and he made a show of them openly, trumping over them. Why? Acts chapter 5, verse 15. Acts chapter 5, verse 20 and 21 says what? That Christ came to bring forth repentance unto the nation of Israel. So now you and I, if we make a mistake, instead of allowing ourselves to come out and be stoned to death, we could call upon the name of our Savior and we will be able to have forgiveness for our sins. Verse 16 says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of person of a holy day or in a new moon or a Sabbath day. This does not mean that you can just do whatever you want to or you don't have to deal with these things anymore. We're not saying that by doing these things, it automatically gets you a first-class ticket into heaven. Because there's many brothers that show up for feast days, show up for weekly Shabbats, wear fringes, and street teach and do all the manners of work, and still inwardly they're evil and wicked. So these things does not give you a first-class ticket to heaven. Let's make it clear. Christ came to magnify the inward man, right? So, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. Verse 18, let no man beguile you of your reward in voluntary humility. What involuntary humility? Meaning you have voluntarily given your life up because you are an Israelite and you've always lived with the law and the culture. So you felt bad for what you did. So you felt that it was the right thing to do was to voluntarily give yourself up. That's why it says, let no man beguile you of your reward. What reward? Your ability to be able to repent and come back to the Father in a voluntary humility and worshiping of angels, or introducing into those things which he had not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind. So these things, this is my perspective, and I'm not here to say I got all the answers and I got 100% of the truth. But according to my understanding, my research, looking at what was going on with the people, this is what was going on in Colossians, right? Don, would you like to respond to that in any way?
No, I think you covered it up. Very good exegesis, very good breakdown. Paul apparently is agreeing with you there, bro. I don't have no more to add to it.
All praise and glory.
Hallelujah.
Did you send an email, brother?
Yeah.
Okay, let me check it real quick. Hey, Don, you can take some more questions if you would like.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Some comments from the audience. Here to shout you folks out because you come in here and you're supporting the Source Debate League, and we'd like to ask you all.
I got a question for Don. I got a question for Don on the Sabbath.
Okay, you got one? Who do we have here? Let's call somebody out we hadn't called. Who hadn't we called out?
Yeah, I got one. On the Sabbath, what are the things that you're supposed to do? What are the things that you're supposed to do on the Sabbath? Like can I use the microwave?
Well, depending on the time
on the
frame,
Sabbath?
you couldn't use the microwave.
Do I have to eat flour tortillas on the Sabbath?
Well, that's another thing. You know, in a certain age and a certain time, we couldn't do what we're doing now on the internet, according to Judaism. You couldn't light a fire. You can't be on the internet, which that electrical signal that's going there, that is a fire. You couldn't do that. You couldn't go outside your house and travel up to so many feet. I think you definitely couldn't go to so many miles. It's a matter of feet. You know, there's a lot of things we're doing today that in the ancient world, this was not permitted to do in Judaism. So there's a big distinction between Judaism and the actual laws that was prescribed to Moses. And lighting a fire was something you could not do unless you were a priest.
So hold on. So as y'all as Hebrew Israelites on the Sabbath, are y'all doing what's against the Sabbath by using the internet, by doing the things that you say modern times would contest as being against the law? Are y'all wrong?
No, that is according to Judaism. So a lot of things you couldn't do according to Judaism. Judaism sprang out, I guess I should say this. Judaism sprang out of the Babylonian captivity where the rabbis began. That is what I'm clarifying is Judaism. And there was a lot of things you could not do on the Sabbath. They wouldn't even have court after 3 p.m. on Saturday. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes down right now to it, we're talking about an issue of time and culture and laws. There's a difference between the Jewish halakha as opposed to the actual Torah that was given from God to Moses. And what was inscribed in the law was, one thing was God would have mercy, where in Judaism, it wouldn't allow you to have that kind of mercy. You had to follow them by the strictest code. And the Essenes, the Pharisees, these are two of the mainstays, and the Sadducees, these people had a very, very strict code when it came down to Sabbath. We find in the New Testament also where Jesus himself was being accused of breaking Shabbat because of their halakha, because of the Jewish halakha. Not a lot of us really know a whole lot about that.
Because he was eating corn. Because he was eating corn. Him and the
Right.
disciples was eating corn.
Right. And I will pull that up for the sake of this time while we're here, just kind of doing a little filler. I'm gonna pull this up from the scriptures. Tell you what they said. That's a good question, King Self. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with some good ones, because I don't believe in it, so I'm gonna ask you something that you're gonna actually have to study in, baby.
Pro Rizzo, I'm gonna let you
But
finish your point.
I know you got it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you finish your point. But I do have the brother's PowerPoint, so we're ready to go. So
Let's begin. Without
Yeah,
further ado,
let's go and start it. We can do this after the show.
that's right. Okay, I'm muting out.
all right, man. So we're ready to go over here. We appreciate your patience and bearing with us. We're ready to go. By the way, John Doe, you didn't wrote about 40 scriptures in the comment section. If you want to come on the source and debate, the law's done away with, brother. I'm sure I got a multitude of brothers that would love to get in the ring with you concerning that. Right, Phinehas?
Uh-huh.
Right. So you let us know if you want to get in the ring. All right. So without further ado, Phinehas, I'm gonna pass the floor over to you, brother. Your time starts when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you all can see this. Get this off of here. All right. 1 second here. That needs to come off the screen. Maybe my computer has a lag. All right, here we go. Floor is yours.
All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Thumb. And salute all the brethren. I want us to come in the spirit of Jeremiah 4:3, man. We break up the fallow ground of our hearts and allow this seed to be planted, allow this word to be planted. I know we have our expectations, we already have our, our thoughts on most of Israel have their thoughts on if it starts at evening or if it starts in the daytime. But I just want y'all to, be open, have an open heart to the information. And as we present this thing, and let's go ahead and start it out. Now, before we start out, before we go in, we gotta establish what is a evening and what is a morning. I think that is the problem that we're having. My stance is that I'm here to defend that the day starts sunrise. All right, that's what I'm here to defend, that the day starts sunrise. But we have to first understand and define what is evening and what is sunrise. What is evening and what is morning? Can you go to the next slide for me?
Gotcha.
All right, so we see here Erev in the Hebrew. All right, we see evening, night, sunset, evening, sunset, night. I want you to look at some of the uses as they've been translated. You see evening, night, and you see mingled. You see mingled, that's very important. You see Arabia, that's very important. Then we see at the bottom from dusk, day, evening, night. But that mingle in that Arabia, I want you to hold on to that. All right, we see in the Greek Aspios, and we see late evening. Like, look at this, Israel. All right, either from 3 to 6 o'clock p.m. from 6 p.m. to the beginning of night. And I'm here to show first that evening and morning are transitional periods into day or into night. All right, these are transitional periods, so we have to understand these things first, especially before we go and read Genesis in the beginning, and that's what we're gonna go into. And we see the root word of the Erev, which is Arab. And we know the Arabs are mingled people or mixed people. All right, and it says to become evening, grow dark, to become evening, grow dark, to spend the evening, do at evening, etc. So, but we gonna dig deeper into that Arab or that Arab, because we see that these are mingled or mixed people, and we're gonna see it's gonna establish that the evening is a mixture of the daytime, the sun, and you know what I'm saying, the going down of the sun. The night is in between, it's a transitional period, as is morning. Let's go to the next slide. All right, and this just going into just some Wikipedia on the word Arab in the Bible. The word Arab is closely associated with the word Arab, meaning a mix of people. All right, a mixture of people. Jeremiah 25:24 parallels king of Arab. We don't really need that. We see here the people in question are understood to be the early Nabateans, who do indeed appear to have been a mix of different tribes. All right, the medieval writer Ibn and Nadim in Khadib al-Faris derived the word Arab from the Syriac pun by Abraham on the same root. In his account, Abraham addresses Ishmael as you rub from the Syriac rock, meaning mingle. All right, we see mingled there, and that's the root word of Arab. Again, going into evening, being a mingling. That's what I'm trying to establish first. That evening and morning are transitional periods from day to night. The day 24-hour cycle is consistent of the daytime and nighttime. All right, and evening and morning are transitional stages in between those two parts. Let's go to the next slide. All right, we see here in the Strong's definition, the two evenings, one in the phase between the two evenings. If we drop down, we see according to the opinion of the Karaites and the Samaritans, which in favor by the words of Deuteronomy 16:6, the time between sunset and deep twilight. But the Pharisees, however, and the rabbinists considered the time when the sun began to descend to be called the first evening. So we see the Pharisees and the rabbinists and the Samaritans, we see them fighting or debating more so on when does the evening actually start. You see one saying when the sun is coming down, so begins to come down, and then you see one right there at that end of the sun coming down into deep twilight. So even back in those times, in biblical times, we still had we seen a little problem with establishing when was evening. You had two different evenings, but we weren't saying that evening is nighttime. We weren't saying that. All right, we weren't saying evening was nighttime, or saying that morning was, you know what I'm saying, just meant that was the whole day. All right, let's go to the next slide. And then we see Booker, which is morning. We said Booker told. See the break of day, the end of night, the beginning of day, morrow, next day, next morning. And we see here the usage. We see it's used for morning 191 times, and for morrow is used 7 times. It's used 7 times. Booker is used for tomorrow 7 times. Let's look at it in the Greek pro-e. In the morning early, the 4th watch of the night. We got to understand too that the night was broken into 4 watches, 4 night watches. All right, we had 12 hours in a day, and then the night was broken into 4 night watches. All right, the 4th watch of the night from 3 o'clock in the morning, all right, until 6 o'clock. All right, so morning can still be dark. Morning can still be dark. We got to understand this, that these are transitional periods into day. All right, you see daybreak at dawn. By implication, the day break. All right, the breaking of day, meaning the day is being. Let's continue on. Let's go to the next slide. All right, we see red skies. So let's look at Matthew chapter 16, verse 2. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say, fair weather, for the sky is red. Now, why is the sky red at evening? Because it's a transitional phase. A lot of times we think in evening, we trying to get home before the sun go completely down, or we be in there shopping at Walmart trying to hustle and get those last little Sabbath items. We say, oh man, the sun just about to go down, but you're already dead. You're already dead. All right, it's when the sky is red. And then watch in the morning, verse 3, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and low ring. Again, both of them red, both of them transitional phases, evening and morning. Let's go to the next slide. All right, we see here the evening, 2 evenings. According to the opinion of the Karaites, the time. Okay, we just read that. Let's go to the next slide. All right, evening, going down at the sun, Deuteronomy 16:6. But at the place, Shalakia, at the place where the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun. So we see evening is at the going down of the sun, not when the sun has already gone down. It's a process of the going down of the sun. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, we understand that Yahushua is the word, all right, and through him all things were created. 1 John 1:1. In the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God. The same was with the beginning. With God, all things were made by him, and without him no thing was made. Let's look at John 9:4. This is very important also. I must work the works of him that sent me while this day, the night cometh, where no man can do any work. We see Yahushua saying that night no man does any work. All right, and this is also established by the parable of the 12 laborers. I think we have this in here also. But we see in the creator, we know all things were created through Yahushua. All right, and he's saying that no work can be done at night. Matthew chapter 20 and verse, that is the parallel. That's the 12 laborers. We don't need that. John 12:46. I am come a light into the world, and whosoever believeth on me shall not abide in darkness. In Colossians also establishes the fact that Yahushua, all things were created through him. So when we see him saying that no work can be done at night, I'm just here to establish that the work of the creation process was done in the daytime, and then nighttime, evening came, and then morning came, and that contributed to the first being the first day. You see the transition into night, and then the transition into the next day, and that made it the first day. Let's continue. All right, Genesis, let's continue on. All right, now I highlighted all the ands in Genesis to let us know that this is a continuation. We're reading the process. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, let there be lights. All right, that Colossians 1:15 lets us know that the Yahushua was the light, all right, that he was that light that was created. He was the first creation. So creation starts right here. Let there be light, and there was light, and God saw that the light was good, and God divided the light from darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now, a lot of times we skip over this and then go to the evening and the morning. See, that's the new day. And we don't want to deal with the first part. He said, this is day and this is night. All right, to separate that. And then it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And we read that and the evening and the morning as it's saying an, as an evening, and a morning is a day. That's not what it's saying. It's saying and the evening and the morning, meaning that and before the evening means it is encompassed in what was done prior, and it's connected to that. And then that was the first day. All right, let's continue on. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters, and from under the firmament the waters were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And we see this all the way until we get to the seventh day. All right, and then he rested. But let's continue on. All right, let's look at it in the Tanakh. Let's see how it's read in the Tanakh. It says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, Genesis 1:5. And he called night, and it was evening, and it was morning one day. All right, marking one day. Let's continue on. Let's look at it as a couple other translations, because a lot of times we want to read the King James version, but the Old English trips us up, and we don't go back and check words. We don't go back and define words, and a lot of us wasn't good at reading and literature and writing in the first place. So we get a little prideful, but sometimes you need to look at other translations. All right, let's look at the NIV. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. The NLT really kills it. God called the light day, and the darkness night, and evening passed, and morning came, marking the first day. All right, marking the first day. And you see the same thing in the EIV. There was evening, there was morning the first day. There was evening, there was morning the first day, and only the King James gives that and the evening and the morning, which kind of trips us up a little bit, and we think that the evening and the morning encompasses the day, when really evening, between evening and morning, is only 12 hours. You still missing another 12, and that's when the work was done. I must do the work of him who sent me while it's still day. Let's continue. All right, we see speech. All right, we know that the word made was the creation process. In Psalms 19, verse 1 through 3, watch this. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show of his handiwork. Day unto day utter of speech, and night unto night show of knowledge. All right, day unto day, that speech was that creation. That was done in the first 12 hours. Then evening came, then morning came, and that marked the first day. All right, let's continue on. All right, look at Booker. All right, we remember we said Booker was used 7 times for morrow. Let's look at Leviticus chapter 22, verse 29. And when ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. On the same day it shall be eaten. On the same day it shall be eaten. Ye shall leave none of it until morrow. And morrow there is the word Booker, right? The same word used for morning. We see the translators, the KJV translators are using this interchangeably. I am the Lord. Esther chapter 2, verse 14 also does the same thing. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned to the house of the women. On the morrow mean in the morning, which is morrow. She went and returned to the second house of the women, to the custody of Shaaz, the king's chamberlain. Let's continue. So we see there Booker and morning is used for morning and morrow. And morrow. What my time look like?
My fault, man. Your time is up. I tried to give you a 2-minute warning, but I was muted. So I'm trying to navigate your PowerPoint, and I'm muted. So that's my apologies.
That's a good stop.
Man.
That's
a
good stop, though. That's what I wanted. Yeah. I kind of tested that. Yeah, about 50. That was a good stop for me.
All right. I'll do better on your next round, man. But all right, man. So the brother brought forth certain powerful information, man. So we're gonna be able to look at these things for what they are.
All right.
We're looking at days. We're looking at the times. We're looking at certain pronunciations on certain things, man. So these things are very important when it comes to our understanding. And I appreciate the depths of study that this brother has displayed. So, brother, Dre, you ready? Okay. Hey, we lost the brother for a minute. Hey, Pro Rizzo, say something real quick, bro.
Okay, so just on an unbiased moderation point of view, what I did hear from Phinehas was he gives us some Hebrew. He gives us the word Erev in the Hebrew. He gives us the Greek term poiesis. He describes in his debate about the evening and the night, and he emphasized on the point that the word Booker can be interchangeable with tomorrow, and it is constantly being used between evening and morning. He's showing us the dichotomy that the Bible lays out, that there's no strict term for Sabbath day, more or less. He's basically talking about the etymology and the language itself. And that is a hermeneutical point, folks. That's part of hermeneutics. When you chase down a word, I like that. He gives us both the Hebrew and the Greek. And then he does mingle in a little English. That's very good. I like that. That shows that he studied. So with that, I think that's off to a great start. Although I did miss the main concluding point because of the time stop. But, hopefully he'll pick that up in the next round where he left off. Keep it seamless. So far, we're off to a good start.
Yeah, man, brother did real good, man. So the brother Dre is having some technical difficulties. He had to reboot his computer, so he's waiting for it to come back up. He said give him a second. All right. So General Yashar, are you there? General Yashar, are you there?
The king here, though. The king here.
All right, man. So for a small commercial break, man, you all, if you want to promote your business on Instagram, you can hit up my brother. Hold on, somebody got some background noise. Leave that to set.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, so I just muted you for a minute, brother. All right, so if you want to promote your business on Instagram, you can go to Bruce Street Marketplace. Bruce Street Marketplace on Instagram. You can promote there for free. The brother has a huge following. It's the page is steady growing. So with your interest or any type of services that you may provide for the community, any services that you provide to the community, he would gladly help you promote that. All right. We also have another business, Motivated Focus, from my brother General Yashar. He does T-shirts. He does full jogger sets, hoodies, T-shirts. I believe the brother's doing backpacks. He's doing all type of stuff with the Motivated Focus logo on there, man. So hit up General Yashar, right? Go follow him on Instagram and show your love and support, right? You can also, if you're looking for armband sets such as these, right? If you're looking for T-shirts, if you're looking for full garment sets, you're looking for girdles, if you're looking for headbands, you're looking for meat-trees, you're looking for T-shirt, hoodie sets, you can reach me at Garments of Vengeance. You can follow me on at Yeremiah, please say the Yah on Instagram. And you can follow me on Facebook at Yeremiah Yah on Facebook. Like and subscribe to the Source Debate League. We're trying to grow the channel, family. Like and subscribe. We have another debate coming up. Our brother Pro Rizzo won. To the law, to the testimony, will be back in action. Be on the lookout for that. We're fired up here at the Source for the up and coming debates. The Scholastic Bully, the Source Debate League champion, will be back in action next weekend. Also, we will be continually working towards King Seth getting back in the ring very soon. General Yashar getting back in the ring. James Cassell getting back in the ring. So we're looking for all our brothers to come back in and do this work. Shout out to our brother. The Blue Collar Scholar, D Red. Shout out to the board of the Source, man. We are the board, and you will be assimilated, man. Understand that, man. Right? Shout out to the Sons of Jacob out here in Oklahoma City, man. Our sister camp out here to the House of Redeemed Servant. Sending some love to the Garments of Vengeance. To all you brothers and sisters that are chiming in, man. A lot of brothers and sisters are watching and eager for this first round to continue. Brother Dre, are you ready? I see you back in the building, Brother Dre. You there? We can't hear you, bro. I see you're unmuted, but we have no volume from you.
Hey, while he doing that, I want to say this. Say, man, I'm the leader of the Gold Coast Gorillas, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, this is a banner that I feel like that everybody in America can, all black people in America can get down with, especially the Hebrew Israelites and especially anybody that want to come in. But I ask y'all first to be able to come to the source and be able to stand your ground. If you can't stand your ground, then you can't be a Gold Coast gorilla because you're gonna have to be able to stand up against your doctrine before anything. So if you want to become that, if you want to be up under that banner, then you can come over and put your doctrine up to scrutiny. We can put you in a hot seat and we can go over your stuff to see if you can be able to stand the square. I know some of y'all might not like that, or y'all might not approve of that or be mad about that, but I really don't care. The thing about it is that we are men over here and we're trying to train and raise men. So that's what we have to do. You have to be able to stand on your square and be able to prove what you're saying. If you can't do that, no matter what doctrine you are, then hey, then you're gonna fall over by the wayside. You're gonna get rolled over. So hey, Gold Coast Gorilla, all right, man. You know what I'm saying? M'Baku in there.
That's right, man. Let's make this clear, man. I'm definitely a part of the Gold Coast Gorillas, man. You know why? Because the Hebrews went in there and we cultivated that land. All right, I want to make that extremely clear, right? For the Hebrew Israelites, wouldn't be nothing going on in West Africa.
See, there you go with that bull. See, there you go playing.
Let me make that clear, sir. Let me make that clear.
Twinkle toes over there, dabbling in Israel territory.
Right. All right, brother Dre, I see you jump back in, man. Are you there, brother Dre? Speak up, brother. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Salakia, man, my computer started acting up, man. So I actually got to email you my PowerPoint real quick. So give me just a second. I'll send that over.
All right, brother. I'm gonna need 10% of you brothers' proceed, man. This is getting ridiculous, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, I was good until about 3 minutes until he started his presentation. Then my stuff just started acting up, man.
That's all right, man. Go ahead and send it off. Hey,
all right.
Yeah, while he's sending that off, I want to get the record clear that just because you Hebrew Israelites moved in the neighborhood, that don't mean that y'all had nothing to do with nothing. Y'all just came over there and y'all was up the street and we decided to play ball with y'all. Y'all was cool, y'all was a little funny, but we was like, all right, we gonna look past that. And y'all brought some things and we brought some things and we put it together. That's why we Gold Coast Gorillas, you know, you understand me? We gonna collab and you know what I'm saying, we gonna come together like ass cheeks. You understand me? That's what we gonna do. And we gonna bang against the known enemy that we both have in common, which everybody know that we have, which I will not speak on because we are live. You understand?
Right, so on that, to address that cheek line, we're gonna give a big super pause on that. All right. So, super pause on that one, bro.
we gonna come together like Cherokee the ass cheeks. You understand? We gonna come together like somebody like a big booty Hebrew Israelite. You understand?
Bro, man. Listen, man. We got new brothers on here. Phinehas got an audience that is watching us, man. We gotta keep it clean, brother. All right.
Clean like
we gotta keep it clean, man. I want Phinehas to be able to share this to his congregation. Phinehas is a very serious brother, and I want his congregation to feel comfortable here at the source. Okay, King Seth, thank you very much. Sir.
That's my fault. I'm a little bit forward. I apologize. Once y'all get to knowing King Seth, I'm a little bit forward. You know, I really don't bite my tongue at all, but I mean, I will respect your people. I respect your people.
And I did make note.
I know you got a lot of people watching, man. So, you know, we got familiar with this brother over here, man. But I know you got a lot of people watching, man. So we trying to be a little bit more orderly over here, so this thing can be definitely digestible for all ages. That's our goal here at the source. All right. So Dre, let me check my email real quick. Hey, Pro Rizzo, man, you can take some questions or something real quick, man. Let me try to check on this brother real quick.
All righty. So
get back to the question I asked you.
We do have a child asking you a particular question. Sons of Jacob. I don't know if you want to deal with that or not. The question was, King Seth, is it possible your lineage goes back to the Hebrews? What you think?
The lineage, which lineage? West African lineage?
Do you still have your your personal lineage? Do you still have your genealogy with you? Documentation?
Yeah, I got it. I
Could
just
you?
got to go in the class and grab it out real quick.
Okay.
What you
Yeah,
want me to grab it?
Yeah, please do.
All right, I'm
I
gonna grab
think that you know, and I'm not entirely sure. I will submit this to the audience when it comes down to it. Just being honest with you, when it comes down to us being DNA Hebrew Israelites, you know, there's a lot of water to cross, time to cross, miles to cross, and it is a lot of blood there that, you know, I'm not necessarily so sure about. You know, there's a lot of arguments floating about. There'll probably always be these arguments because we're that far removed from the first century. So, you know, I don't even know. Yeah, please show that.
You want to show my grandmother? You want me to show my
Yeah.
my great great grandmother? She was a Cherokee.
Well, he's done some research, and he's put something together here for you all.
This is my grandmother right here. My great great grandmother. She was a full blood Cherokee Indian from Louisiana.
That's right, a Hebrew Israelite.
Now she wasn't no damn Hebrew Israelite. She ain't her goats. You know what I'm saying? That's my great grandmother right there. And this lady right here, the lady up here right here is the lady, her son married. Between this lady and her son, they started the lineage from my grandfather's father on down to me. So she was born in the 1600s.
That's
This lady right here. She was born before the slave trade, I believe. This lady right here.
You know, that's interesting, Seth. My great grandmother was also Cherokee Indian. That's really interesting. A lot of black folks have Indian ancestry somewhere in their DNA. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us. Mostly in the southeast part of the United States. A little fun fact: during the 1830s, 1840s, the period covered by the Indian Removal Act, many Cherokees were moved west to a territory that is now the state of Oklahoma, where our beloved brother Jeremiah currently resides.
Hey, Don, if y'all can look at this page right here, if y'all can look at this page, it says Lewis Hamilton, the father. That is my grandfather's dad. My grandfather was born. I'm finna flip the page. My grandfather was born in 1928. So if my granddaddy that I know right now was born in 1928, we can turn back and look at his father and imagine when he was born. And we can flip right back again and imagine when his grandfather was born. So if that's my granddaddy was born in 1928, his father was born in 18 something. His daddy was born in 18 something. You can see when his grandmother was born in 17 something. My grandfather, the Indian lady that married my grandfather's great grandmother was a runaway slave.
Wow, it's amazing. It wasn't Kunta Kinte cousin, was it? Keith F.
Nah, it wasn't Kunta. He ain't get his foot chopped off.
Not Kunta? Okay, not Kunta. While we're waiting on the brother.
All right, I'm back in. I just sent the email over to Jeremiah.
Okay, brother. While we're waiting on Jeremiah to get your presentation pulled up and making it slide, why don't you tell us a little bit about your position, your contention in this before we get started?
My position is that that the sunset to sunset Sabbath is what was instilled from the beginning and continues to be observed today throughout different nations, different civilizations, where we, the Israelites, have put our footprints over the course of history and time. So that's my stand, and that's something I'm gonna prove here through scripture and extra biblical sources as well.
Great. Y'all debates. This is a very interesting debate. I'm I'm really anxious to see how these brothers divide it up and separate it out and make the point clear to us all. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah, a lot of folks still do argue and debate over the subject. So I'm going to leave it in you guys' capable hands. I'm sure that they'll have a whole lot to give us. So, and brother, I want to get your name again. And I am taking notes, by the way, I will tell you.
Well, yeah, it's brother Andre, aka He the Slave.
Andre. All right, Andre. Glad to hear. I know we met the other day, last week, I believe it was.
Yeah. We had a good build.
Everybody's been good.
Oh yeah, most def.
Hallelujah. Let's see, we'll take another question from the audience till Jeremiah is ready. John Doe, what is the Old Testament? What is Old Testament? IS is flesh, New Testament is spirit. There's a difference from the two. Rephrase, brother. Make it a little bit more clear for us. Rephrase. Not really sure what you're asking.
Yeah, we got to get this, bro. We got to get this brother over here in the ring, man. He's trying to prove a point. I believe he wanna argue Old Testament versus New Testament law, or whether or not the law is done away with, or just state your premise, man. And we have brothers over here that would love to debate you on that topic. I have the brother's presentation, so we are ready to go.
I see somebody got up there, looks like one to me. He must be talking about my grandmama. Don't disrespect my grandmama like that, man. Talk about she a goat herder. She ain't no goat herder, bro. She ain't no Hebrew Israelite. You understand? She was a Native American. The Cherokee warrior side. The Cherokee warrior killer side. We ain't do no herding of the goats. You understand? We was murking shit. That's that side, the Louisiana side. The Louisiana Cherokee Indians, we was murking shit, eating niggas' hearts and shit, scalping niggas. That's what we was doing. I don't know what you other Hebrew Israelite Native Americans was doing, but I know what we was doing up there in Oklahoma. Yeah, y'all was friendly and shit like that, giving them people, telling them, yeah, we gonna take your blankets. That's what you Oklahoma people was doing. Down here in the boot, we was scratching. You understand? Down here in Texas. And
all right, man, we ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and get this first round out the way.
All right.
Let's go, man. The time starts when you start. Let me share my screen real quick.
All right. And first and foremost, Salakia to the audience, the panel, the judges for making y'all wait. And all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. And appreciate the brothers on the Source Debate for providing this platform so we can have topics and iron sharper iron. Shout out to all the judges, brother Phinehas. May the Most High bless y'all. All right, so let's get into this to this topic at hand. Sunrise to sunrise Sabbath. My point I explained a little bit earlier, and I'm going to prove conclusive proof that 24-hour day could not begin at sunrise. Okay, next slide. The goals of this debate is to show proof in scripture, show proof in non-biblical and extra-biblical sources, and debunk the sunrise to sunrise theory. Next slide. We're going to start off in the beginning, all right? And this is something that the brother had mentioned earlier, so we're going to follow that same suit. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth. And verse 2, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness. Okay, key thing here is darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. Now we get to verse 3, and the Most High said, let there be light, and there was light. And verse 4, and the Most High saw the light, that it was good, and the Most High divided the light from the darkness. Now, following the logic of sunrise, okay, even if there was light, being the creator, you have that authority to set order. And this is what is happening in Genesis chapter 1. Order is being set, okay? So there is things formed, light being created, darkness be created, and order is being set, separating them. So it hasn't yet been initiated to when this order begins. Now, as we go to the next slide, we'll begin to see a pattern and structure that is interwoven and beautifully weaved right into creation. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So the order that I was alluding to from the last slide was sewn into creation beautifully. Okay, Brother Phinehas pointed to this. I agree with him. There was a pattern, as he mentioned. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but we see I've highlighted in red. Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So it doesn't matter if you have light first or darkness first. It's when he, the creator, made that structure, that order. So again, even if light was first, as the creator, he has that authority to say, all right, well, I'm gonna have the evening begin my day. And as we see in these verses, this is what happening. So just because, and I don't agree with it, but if even if we follow that logic, if light was created first, he still has that distinction to set order when his day is going to begin. Now let's continue to see this pattern. Verse 8. And the Most High called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And this pattern goes down to verse 13, verse 19, verse 23. And in verse 31, we see this same pattern, evening, then morning. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Right. So the scriptural 24-hour day begins and ends in darkness. First of all, the original scriptural definition of evening in Genesis chapter 1, verse 5 was the 12-hour period of darkness that was called night. And the scriptural definition of morning was a 12-hour period of light that was called day. So no other division of time was mentioned at this time in Genesis chapter 1. So we have to keep that in mind when we're exegesing scripture and also reading other scripture as well. We got to make sure everything ties in and flows in flawlessly so we don't have any gray areas. Now, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So, as I mentioned in the previous slide, 24-hour period, 12 hours day, 12 hours night. So when you look at this, the first day of creation, when the light popped on, there would be one half of the earth light and the other half dark. We have 50-50, so that equals a whole, okay? Let's go on to the next slide. So what we're going to do now is look at the definition of evening, okay? Evening is identified as follows by Strong's Concordance and Brown's Drivers Briggs Hebrew Lexicon. The H number 6153 is Arab. H number and it comes from the root H 6150. It's dusk, all right? Plus day, 24-hour period. Evening tide, night, all right? Brown's Drivers Briggs definition, evening, night, sunset. So all of these things so far, we're building up our foundation right now. We already seen in creation where the night and day were sown into creation. All right. And there's a 12-hour period of day, 12-hour period of night. So let's continue to build our case here. You can go to the next slide. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 38 through 41. I'm gonna go ahead and get that and read it. All right. Matthew chapter 12, verse 38 through 41. All right, and it reads, Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Verse 41, the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with the generation and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here. So this is Christ telling how long he would be within the earth. Okay, he's aligning that with how long Jonas was in the belly of the beast. So when we go back to this scripture, when it talks about in verse 40 that the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth, the Greek word for day is the Greek number 2250, which is hemera, which means gentle day, time between dawn and dark, or 24 hours. So when he says that he'll be 3 days, that's 24-hour periods. All right. So let's look at Jonas really quick, and we building up our foundation here before we get into the meat. So let's turn to Jonah chapter 1, and let's break that down really quick. So when we look at Jonah chapter 1, it talks about how long that he will be in the belly. Give me just a second here. All right, so Jonah chapter 1 and verse 17 says, Now Most High provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. So the Hebrew word for day was the 3117 Yom. It means to be hot, warm hours of the day, sunrise to sunset, 24-hour period. And the word for night was the Hebrew 3915 Lila, which is period of time when it's dark. So we see that these are talking about 24-hour periods, 12-hour day, 12-hour night. And when we look at Jonah again, chapter 2, and we're going to look at the first couple of verses. It says, From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Most High. He said, In my distress, I'll call to you, Father. And he answered me, From deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas. And the currents swirled me about, all your waves and breakers are swept. So it's not what I wanted, but the fish in those verses spits him out after 3 days and 3 nights, which is the same picture that Christ gave back in Matthew chapter 12, verses 38 through 41. All right, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so let's begin to get into the meat of the point of this all. And Exodus, the 16th chapter, conclusively pinpoints a weekly Sabbath on the 15th day of the second month after leaving Egypt. If that Sabbath day began at sunrise, as some suggest, the children of Israel would have been gathering quail that evening. And on the weekly Sabbath day, which is against the law of the Most High, Exodus chapter 16, verses 1 and 13 teaches how the Most High spoke to Moses on the 15th day of the second month, which is irrefutably proven to be a weekly Sabbath, telling him that he had heard their murmurings and would give them quail in the evening and manna in the morning. So when we look at that, Exodus chapter 16, look at verses 12 and 13. Verse 12 says, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. Again, the pattern goes again, even in morning. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Verse 12 is where I'm at. Even in morning. This is the same pattern that we saw that was sown into creation in Genesis chapter 1. It says, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with the bread, and ye shall know that I am the Most High, your mighty one. Verse 13. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning, the dew lay around about the host. So we see that the Most High does not change. It's our understanding is what changes when we begin to read under other books and take in other ideologies without having a foundation from the word itself. So we begin to think that something is, which is not. So our understanding can get tripped up. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. Sin is the transgression of the law, right? So the law teaches not to do any work on a weekly Sabbath. So they were not even allowed to gather man on the Sabbath, let alone quail. So the sunrise proponents have to believe that quail was given and gathered on the Holy Shabbat. All right. So the quails had to arrive the night before the weekly Shabbat was over at evening. And it was on the first day of the week that the children of Israel gathered and ate them between the evenings. So the evening that was ended on the seventh day, okay, and the first day would come after. So if this not be the case, of a very serious death penalty sin would have to have taken place for them to have done this on a sacred holy Sabbath day. So if they were not allowed to gather manna on the holy Sabbath day,
2 minutes remaining.
Okay, so if they were not allowed to gather manna on the holy seventh day, they would not be allowed to gather quail either. If the quails were given on the holy Sabbath for the people to clean and eat, then the people that went out to gather manna on the next Sabbath could justifiably say that they gathered the quails on the previous Sabbath, and could truthfully say that gathering manna would not be nearly as bad as gathering quails, because you don't have to clean the manna as you would a quail. But of course, I don't believe the quails were gathered on the weekly Shabbat, and neither were anyone that did not have any doctrine to protect. All right. So as I said before, the quails did not come until the evening, which ended the Sabbath day and began the first day of the week. And this is what Moses and Aaron say in verse 6. And again, when we exegese verse 6, it always is the evening and then the morning. And I yield my time.
All right. All right. Can you all hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay. Great.
Great job on the slide.
Man, so, hey, man, the brother brought for some powerful information. That quail example, ending off things with the quail, it's definitely something that we need to look at, and I'm sure Phinehas is going to deal with that in his second round. Are you ready, brother?
Come.
All right, the floor is yours when you're ready.
Come.
Can you all see my screen?
It's coming through clear, huh? Day of Atonement.
Floor is yours.
All right, I do want to go back up because he hit on a couple points, and I know brother Andre, he did hit a couple good points. And I do want to go back and just hit on a few things and establish a few things again, so we don't forget these things. It'll slide up again at the top again. We established, you know what I'm saying, we was trying to establish that evening and morning are transitional periods. They are not day and night. They are periods in between day and night. And we established that with the Arab, with the Arab being mixed people, etc. We seen the red skies in Matthew 16 too. We read the Deuteronomy 16. And then again, when my brother went to the Genesis, and it repetitively said, and the evening and the morning. If it's saying and the evening, it's meaning something was connected to that. There wouldn't be need for a and. The writer wouldn't need a and in there if what was just said wasn't connected to it. And so what we was establishing was that the daytime, that's when work was being done. We seen that in John chapter 9, verse 4. I must do the work of him who sent me while it is still day. Night cometh where no man can do any work. So during that daytime period, work was being done. Light was created, work was done, right? And then came evening, and then came morning, and that was the first day. And then work was done. Then the firmament was separated, and then the heavens were created, and then there was evening, and then there was morning, and that was the second day. All the way, like if he's using evening and morning again, evening and morning is complete darkness. That is a 12-hour period. So we can't say that, evening and morning. And I see a lot of times we doing the evening, morning. And I'm going to show, even if we try to play the game that way, it's a losing battle, because we're going to see throughout a plethora of precepts, morning coming before evening. All right. And that's not to establish when a day starts. That's just to show that you can't, that evening and morning, because it says evening here and then morning here, doesn't mean that a day starts. You go ahead and continue on. Go down. I do want to hit on the quails. Let's hit on the quails. Exodus 16, the brother went and he said that the quails were given every day. The fact of the matter is, if you read it out, the quails were only eaten one time. All right, and let's look at Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3. The quails wasn't part of the series. And look at Deuteronomy 8 verse 3. He says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee manna which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread only, but by every word which proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live. All right, quail went in the regimen. That was just something they murmured for, and the Most High obliged them one evening. Now we see that quail coming back again. You see Israel murmuring again in Numbers chapter 11 in verse 3. Now, Shalaki, in verse 5, Numbers 11 and verse 5, we remember the fish. This is Israel murmuring. We remember the fish which we did eat freely. All right, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides manna before our eyes. There's no quail. There's no quail in the regiment. And then they received quail again and received a plague also with it, because that wasn't part of the regiment. So to assume and to put inside the text that quail were given out each day and on the seventh day quail wasn't gathered, that has to be thrown out. All right, let's continue on. Let's go ahead and go back to the slides. Yeah, that was all I wanted to hit on what he was saying as far as the evening and morning. He went to the evening, morning. And again, I think I kind of smashed that. I smashed that Genesis, being that 24-hour cycle includes the work that's being done and the evening and the morning. All right, the work that's being done through the 12-hour cycle, evening and morning is complete darkness, the other 12 hours, and that makes up the first day. All right, let's look at the Day of Atonement. Day of Atonement, because a lot of us are going to go here to try to establish that that's when the Sabbath starts. All right, and it reads Leviticus 23:27, and it reads, also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls. Now he says on the 10th day, hold on to that, on the 10th day of the 7th month there shall be a day of atonement, and you shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Keep going. Shalakia. And ye shall do no work on the same day, for it is the day of atonement. And we see on this 10th day that you're not supposed to do no work. Now, and it's saying this on the 10th day because, again, at night, when you are homesteading, when you are farming, when you're dealing with agriculture, and that's why it's imperative that we understand agriculture when we're reading the scriptures, because a lot of parallels, a lot of the parables and a lot of the understanding that especially Yahushua used was dealing with agriculture, So we have to have a basis understanding of agriculture, right? For whatsoever soul it be that shall not. Can you stroll up a little bit? We got that comment in the way. Just stroll up a little bit for me so I can finish reading that. All right, all praise. For whatsoever soul it be.
My bad. I'm looking to see if there was a comment there. I was trying to remove it, but go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it's cool. It can stay there. You just moved it. It was perfect. It's perfect where you at. All right, and whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day. What day we talking about? The 10th day. All right, that same soul will be cut off from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be a Sabbath of rest. And ye shall afflict your souls. Watch this now. In the 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even, ye shall celebrate your Sabbath. Now, a lot of brothers get tripped up right there, and they'll pull evening to evening, you shall celebrate your Sabbath, as he's talking about a weekly Sabbath. But here he's speaking on the Sabbath of rest for the Day of Atonement. All right, that's why it's not an S on Sabbath. All right, it's this Sabbath that we're talking about. But you're going to start it on the 9th day, but it also must go through the 10th day. All right. This is not the writer. I seen a brother say that the writer is saying the 10th day, and he says he trips up and says the 9th day at even to prove to you that that's when the 10th day starts. And that's a little confusion. And I think that these translators had a little more sense than that. All right. So I'm gonna take this as he's saying the 10th day I gotta be afflicted, and the 9th at evening I must be afflicted. And this is a 24 hours fast that must span through 2 days. Through 2 days, this thing this fast must go on. Now, if we saying evening to evening, when we start the fast on the 9th day at evening, when we get to the next evening, that will start the 10th day, but your soul will not be afflicted on the 10th day. All right, your soul will not be afflicted on the 10th day. Your fast will end. But if we're doing it from sunrise to sunrise, all right, the 9th day comes, and then evening comes of the 9th day, and then you're fasting 12 hours, say from 6 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. All right, that's 12 hours, and then the 10th day starts, and then you keep that fast going from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 10th day, and then that Sabbath is over, and then that's that 24-hour cycle that has went through 2 days. So this Day of Atonement actually establishes that the day actually starts during sunrise. Can you stroll up a little bit for me? All right, and we see it the 9th at evening, 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 12 hours. Is there a little video on there? Will a video play? It probably won't play.
You say, is it a video on there? I don't see no video. Let me scroll
It
up.
probably didn't play because I sent the PMF. It's cool. But I hope y'all got that visual, right? On the 9th day at evening, if we saying 24-hour cycle, just like we keep the days now. All right. We wake up on the 9th day in sunrise, and then comes evening, we start our fast. And then the 10th day comes, all right, then that 12-hour period through the night, we wake up on the 10th day, and then that fast continues on to the evening, and then we're separated. We half on the 9th day, half on the 10th day. That's how that fast is supposed to be kept. And really, we would keep the fast no matter if you celebrating it on sunrise to sunrise or evening to evening. We will keep the fast on the same time. It's just our understanding will be different, because you will be thinking that you went through the 10th day. You went to the 10th day and you didn't. But you stopped on the 10th day. But with the sunrise to sunrise, I went through the 10th day until evening. So I afflicted my soul that 10th day. It didn't work. And on that 9th day at evening, I started my fast. And the reason behind that, because it's harder to have if you start a fast when you wake up in the morning and then have to go to sleep hungry, and then it's a lot harder. That's why sunrise to sunrise is harder than evening to evening. Even in the evening, you don't really even have to have a day of preparation. But we're going to get into that. Let's continue on. Stroll me down a little bit. It'll keep going. All right, debunking the evening to morning. You know what I'm saying? My brother did hit on this. All right, and we see Exodus 18:14, and Moses and the father and his father-in-law saw all that he did to the people. He said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from Shalakia morning to evening?" That should have been to morning to evening. And then you got 1 Samuel 17:16, and the Philistines drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days. This is talking about Goliath. All right, he presented himself morning and evening. All right, and presented himself them 40 days before David jumped down on him. Stroll me up just a little bit. Leviticus chapter 6, verse 12. And the fire upon the altar shall be burning in it, and it shall not be put out, and the priest shall burn the wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in order upon it, and he shall burn thereon the fat of the peace offerings. This offering, verse 20, this is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer unto the Lord in the day when he is anointed. The 10th part of an ephah of a fine flour for a meat offering perpetually, half of it in the morning and half thereof at night. All right, Deuteronomy 28:68. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were evening. And at evening they would say, would God it were morning. Continue on. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to play this game. And I said I wouldn't even use any of these precepts to establish what morning is morning. I'm just trying to tell my brother, show my brother that we can't play that. If you play that game, you still gonna lose, because there's more precepts having morning in front of evening than it is vice versa. Genesis 8:22, while the earth remaineth, seed time. Watch this now. Watch this thing here, how it's juggled. Seed time, harvest, cold, heat, summer, winter, and day and night shall not cease. Exodus 10:13, and Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind, and this is when the locust was coming in. Told him the locust was coming in the next day, and the east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. Now the night should have brought in another day. It says all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought and that's when the plague came the next morning. All right, establishing the day. Exodus 13:21. And the Lord went before them by day in the pillar of the cloud to lead them their way, and by night in the pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. Continue on, stroll me up a little bit. Go back up. Right there, stop right there. All right. Psalm 65:8. They also that dwell in the uttermost parts are afraid as they tokens. Thou makest the outgoings of the morning and the outgoings of the morning and the evening to rejoice. And again, these are transitional periods. Psalms 90:6. In the morning it flourisheth and groweth. In the evening it is cut down and withereth. Keep going. Stroll me up a little more, because we got a lot of these precepts we got to run to. Oh, so let's deal with Passover. How much time I got?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You got 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Let's look at Passover. All right. Exodus chapter 12, verse 22. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out the door of his house until morning. All right. Exodus 14:27. That's going to be important. Exodus 14:27. And Moses stretched forth his hand. Matter of fact, let's start that a little earlier, Shalakia. Let's go to Exodus 14:24. Let's start at verse 24. Let's start on verse 24 with that matter, because we need a little more context. All right. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, all right, in the morning watch, and we seen that earlier when we looked at Pasios, all right, in the Greek, saying that there was that fourth watch from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. could be morning. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked upon the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of the fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. This is them going through that Red Sea. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come upon the Egyptians, upon the chariots, and upon the horses. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared. All right, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. So we crossed that Red Sea right at the morning when that thing crashed on the Egyptians. That's going to be important to hold on to. Let's look at Exodus 11:4. And Moses said, thus says the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt. All right, so we know that that death angel went out at midnight to slaughter the Egyptians, all right, in the middle of the night. So they're going to wake up screaming in the middle of the night. Let's look at Exodus 12:30. Slide me up just a little bit. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house that was not a house where there was not one dead. Numbers 31, 33, and 1. It's going to sum it all up for us. We've seen that Red Sea closed up in the morning. All right. Numbers 33, 1 through 4. These are the journeyings of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt, where the armies were under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeyings by the commandment of the Lord. And these are the journeyings according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramses, all right, in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow, all right, after the Passover. All right, so when that Red Sea closed, it was morning. All right, and that was on the 15th day of the month, on the morrow after Passover. The children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians, for the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which the Lord had smitten, and executed judgment. Go ahead and roll me up a little bit. And another thing we play with is the until morning, or the until even. We'll say that, okay, since it says until even, that starts
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining.
All praises. That starts a day, because it says until even. Well, I'm unclean until even, or we can't cook the thing until even. But it says the same thing. It's more for that's gonna say that until morning. Exodus chapter 12, verse 10, and I'll stop right here. And ye shall let none of it remain until morning, and that which remaineth until morning ye shall burn with fire. You shall burn with fire. All right, and I'll stop right there. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. All right. Hey, man, shots was fired, man. Shots was definitely fired in that round, boy.
Yeah, homie was big bussing. Homie was big bussing.
Huh?
Homie was big bussing, man. He was shooting his
shots
thing.
Shots was definitely fired in that round, man.
Facts.
All right. So I'm very interested to see how the brother's gonna come back from that. Man, my laptop got a serious delay. We're gonna see how the brother came back from that, man, because we gotta look at these things. We have to evaluate these things, right? And as the brother said, man, if you can open your mind to at least hear the information, you might put yourself in a position to receive. So we're gonna pass the mic back to my brother. I see you back there, Heathen Slayer.
All right. All right, shalom. So
I see you back there,
all
brother.
all praise. All right, so
all right, are you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. So first things first, let me clear something up. In the argument that we just heard in the beginning, there was two straw men that was created. Number one, about the quails, because I never said that they were given every day. I said on a weekly Shabbat. That's the number one straw man. Number two is the working on the day part of the Shabbat, or working on the day, was never a point of contention. You know, we all know that most people work during the day, so that was the number two straw man. That was the point of argument. So there was two straw men that was created. Nothing was smashed over here. We good. So those straw men was smashed, but not anything else. So we good over here. So before I get into what I'm about to break down, one thing I want to point out is the brother went to Leviticus chapter 6 and verse 12. Now, you pointed out something very good, and he said that And the fire upon the altar shall be burning in it. It shall not be put out, and the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in order upon it, and he shall burn thereon the fat of the peace offerings. And said, and the thing I want to point out says that the priest shall burn wood on it every morning. So a person with little to no understanding, or a very rudimentary understanding, would take that and go with it. But if you study scripture to show yourself approved, you would know that that's simply not the correct context of reading that. So in that same chapter, all right, Leviticus chapter 6, let's go up to verse 9. Okay, what about verse 9? And it says, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering because of the burnt offering upon the altar, burning upon the altar all night unto the morning. And the fire of the altar shall be burning in it. So again, this is simply what I've been saying the whole time. Evening and morning. They're saying the same thing. From night unto morning. My argument hasn't changed. Okay. Now, I had to clear that out the way, and showing that you cannot debunk the evening to the morning. All right. It was woven in creation. I already went over that in Genesis. Now, brother Jeremiah, if you could bring up my slideshow, please. Let's get started on what we're going to talk about this next round. All right, so far what I've shown, that these verses show how that nothing was going to happen until evening. The reason for this is the weekly Sabbath will not be over until then. So I will ask the question, why would it wait until the evening unless for the reason that the weekly seventh day ended at evening? So it's very important to notice that it says in Exodus chapter 12, verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread. This is referring to the first day of unleavened bread, which began at night. So notice it does not say, and they shall eat the flesh in that evening with the unleavened bread, but in that night. So let's go into Exodus chapter 12, verse 42. It says, it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. That is that night, the Most High to be observed of all the children of Israel and their generations. Other places calls it day. The Most High brought them out from which the land of Egypt, and says to observe this day, which began at night. All right, next slide. All right. Now, Jubilees, chapter 49, verses 1 and 2. Says, remember the commandment which the Most High commanded thee concerning the Passover, that thou shouldest celebrate it in its season on the 14th of the first month, that thou shouldest kill it before it is evening. So that goes to what the brother was saying, that work is done in the daytime. That's not a point of contention. All right. Work did not had to be done before the Holy Sabbath began. All right, so and we see this in Jubilees, that thou shouldest kill it before it is evening, and that they should eat it by night on the evening of the 15th from the time of the setting of the sun. So here we go in verse 2, next line. For on this night, the beginning of the festival, at the beginning of the joy, ye were eating the Passover in Egypt, when all the powers of Mastema had been let loose to slay all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the captive maid servant in the mill and to the cattle. So again, my argument has not changed. Okay, evening, then morning. Night is the beginning of a new day. It was woven in the foundations of creation. All right, next slide. All right, so as we breaking the subject down, we have to keep everything in context, but not only in scriptural context, but geographically as well. Next slide. So when we dive in scripture and break it down and everything, we have to understand that where we are located is not necessarily the same time as where these records were written. So when we're reading it in our mind, we can't think that according to this time where we are located, but we have to put it in where it was written. Okay, next slide. So just to give an example, so when we read in our scriptures over here, it could be 11 o'clock at night, 12 a.m., what the world calls morning. But as you can see in the land, it's what, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., right? So when we read scripture about how, Mary went in the morning, is towards the dawn of day. All right. So this is just to show that we have to change our mindset when we read in scripture. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down a little bit more. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Matthew chapter 27, verses 1 through 3. We're going to be starting out, all right? So when we're reading this account, we have to understand what was going on at this time, and not many people do. That's how they get tripped up on these things. So we're going to read Matthew chapter 27, verses 1 through 3. It says, when the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Christ to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders. So everything that happened to him regarding being betrayed happened on the 14th of the first month. Okay, so this is the day portion of Abib, the 14th day. So this is when he's being delivered, right? So let's jump in the same chapter up to verse 45. You look at verse 45, it says, now from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. All right. And about the 9th hour, Christ cried with a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. This is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them had stood there when they heard that, said, this man calleth for Elias. And straight one of them ran and took the sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave them to drink. The rest said, let be, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Christ, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. So when we look back, verse 45, Now, don't take me absolute for these, but just kind of an approximate. So verse 45 is anywhere from 10 to 11 a.m. And then verse 50, when he died, was around 2 to 3 p.m. or the ninth hour. And it's still the day portion of the 14th day of the month. And this is before nightfall. Okay. Jump over to verses 63 to 66. It says, saying, so we remember that deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days, I will rise again. So this is going back to what I read before of Christ telling of how long he will be in the grave. Now it's coming back. Verse 64, command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the third day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away and say unto the people, he is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, you have a watch, go your way, make it sure as you can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch. Okay, so we'll see that the Sabbath is not the weekly Sabbath. It is the first day of unleavened bread that immediately follows Pesach, which is Passover, which is an annual Sabbath. And they wanted him to be in the ground by nightfall, or it would be unrest. Now let's continue on and read more. It says verse 20, chapter 28, verse 1, in the end of the Sabbath. So this is late in the Sabbath, okay? Meaning late in the day. The word there is, the Greek word there is opse, the Greek number 3791. And you can go on to the next slide. The Greek word there is opse. Matthew, you can go to the next slide. All right, Matthew 28, 1 through 6. Late in the Sabbath is the Greek 3796 opse, meaning late in the day, even close of the day. So the first day of the week.
2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining.
All right, was added by translation. All right. And in this sentence, it says, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. So the Sabbath, this was the weekly interval between two Sabbaths. Okay, so not early in the morning, it was going into the night portion. So by the time we get to the weekly Sabbath, he had already been in the ground 3 days and 3 nights during the course of the Sabbath, ending in the morning. He had already rose. Right, and go ahead to the next slide. So this gives a breakdown of each, because all of these, Matthew, John, Mark, and Luke, gives a breakdown on what happened. And we see Matthew 28 and 1 in the first column, after the Sabbath, toward the dawn of the first day of the week. We see in John, first day of the week, early while it was dark. So that's why I mentioned that there was a time difference. We have to understand the time difference. We have to put ourselves where these records were written, because we can get mistaken and mixed up. All right. So the position of the sun would be toward dawn. So the sun had not yet risen when we look at Matthew and the accounts of Matthew and John. But when we look at Mark and Luke, the sun had risen, or was very early in the morning. So we have to know what's going on when we go into these scriptures, and not blindly look only when it says morning and then make a doctrine out of that. And with that, I yield my time.
All right, can you all hear me?
Con.
Loud and clear.
All right. All right.
Hey, good round. Good round. Good round.
Fire, boy. Right? Shots are being fired, man. Things need to be answered, man. Things need to be dealt with. So I'm going to be looking forward to the question and answer segment of this thing. But believe we have one more round to get underway. One more round to get underway. All right, brothers and sisters. So there's a very serious question that's being posed here. How should you and I keep the Shabbath? Remember, according to the Torah, right? According to the Torah, this was a punishment worthy of death. Okay? So this was something that was very serious in the ancient culture of the Hebrew Israelites. So let's continue on. Brother Phinehas, are you ready?
Con.
All right, the floor is on you, brother. The time starts when you start.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. You want your PowerPoint up?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, and again, he kind of hit. I think he hit the Leviticus 6:9. He says, but it says until morning. It's still not supposed to be eaten till morning. He made a couple points with the feast days, with Passover beginning at evening, and saying that I guess the feast of unleavened bread, feast of unleavened bread, start at evening, Passover at evening. But it's a reason why it's saying, it's a reason why it's starting at evening, and it tells you this. And the brother read why it's telling you to do it at evening. And that's one of the problems with someone trying to say that all the feast days start at evening, because the text don't say that. All right, the text don't say start at evening for the first fruits, or for Pentecost, or for the Feast of Tabernacles, or for the blowing of the trumpets. All right, it doesn't say start at even. This particular feast, they said start at evening. Why? If you read the Exodus 12 and 42, it tells you it is a night to be of much observed unto the Lord, for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is the night of the Lord to be observed. So it's telling you to observe this night, because again, in my last round, I was showing that that death angel was sent at midnight. And some of the ordinances for Passover is you got to eat these things in haste. All right, you got to have on flip-flops, you got to have your staff, you got to be ready to go. All right, and then we see Numbers 33, 1-3, where Moses is saying that they came out of that on the 15th day in the morning, as that Red Sea closed upon the Egyptians. All right, so that is why, and it's telling you, that's why it's giving you an ordinance. All right, that's why it's giving you an ordinance to start this one at evening, because this is unusual. All right, when any feast day that says started, it's giving you that because it's unusual. The Pentecost don't say started at no time, because you started at a day. You started when you start your day. All right, that's why they have to say at evening. They don't say at start Pentecost in the morning. They don't have to say that, because it's going to start it as a normal day. But the reason you have at evening there is because you're doing something that is unusual. It's unusual how you keep these up. So it's not something that's continuous without the text. It's actually more feast days that do not start at evening than it is, again, that those that start at evening. Let's go back to the because we're gonna deal with Yasharahla also in the slides. But we're gonna start right here, Exodus 12:10 again. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until morning, and that which remaineth until morning ye shall burn. You shall burn, and this is the Passover. You don't let that lamb, none of it gonna stay there till morning. And you're gonna see that too, while Yahweh has to be poured down till morning. You're gonna see that he got to be poured down before the morning comes. All right, Exodus chapter 34, verse 25. Thou shalt not offer a blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of Passover be left unto morning. Again, establishing the same point. Leviticus 7:15, and the flesh of a sacrifice of his peace offering for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. It shall be eaten the same day. Now it's got to be eaten. So you're going to slaughter an animal, right? And then cook it on this altar, and it got to be eaten the same day. He shall not leave it until what? Until morning. Why? Because that is establishing another day. All right, that is establishing another day. It can't be there. You can't eat it. You can eat it all that night, but when it comes morning, you can't eat it that same day because that morning establishes another day. Let's go ahead and go down a little bit, and we finna start getting into some heavy cutters right here. All right, unclean until even. I know a lot of us deal with that. I'm just dealing with that for Israel. I know Brother Andre didn't go over it, but he may have it on his next round. Exodus 19:10 through 16, and the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow. All right, you're going to sanctify them today and tomorrow, because again, a lot of us get tripped up in the Nehemiah about being unclean till evening, but we see that Israel is about to see the Most High on Mount Sinai. All right, he says, sanctify them today and tomorrow. Let them wash their clothes and be ready against the third day. All right, for the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bonds unto the people round about, saying, take heed yourselves that ye go not upon the mount or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be a beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. Come up to the mount. People, be ready against the third. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Again, he said, be ready against the third day. Today and tomorrow, you need to sanctify these people. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not into your wives, because in the Torah you coming into your wife, and there's that any of that fluid leaking makes you unclean. It says, come not into your wives, not until even, but he's telling you 2 days, right? And I'm just dealing this to show the inconsistency where we can't just say that unclean just means that even. That's something spiritual that the Most High is dealing with. All right, but you're gonna be unclean. Tell them I'm gonna meet them on the third day. Come not into your wives. And it came to pass on the third day. When did he show up? In the morning. In the morning, that there was thunder and lightning. Now he could have showed up at night, and it would have looked more extravagant with the lightning and the thundering. In the clouds, it would have made a greater impression. He came in the daytime, in morning, on the third day. All right, there was lightning and thunder, a thick cloud, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so the people that was in the camp trembled. Let's look at Joshua chapter 7 and verse 13. Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. All right, and we seen that morrow earlier in my first round. Booker is sometimes exchangeable with morrow. All right, that sometimes it can mean morning. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel, that canst not stand before thine enemies until you take this accursed thing from among you. All right, brothers took some stuff that they weren't supposed to take. All right, in the morning, therefore, ye shall be brought according to your tribes, and these tribes were brought out in the morning. Gave them to the morning to get that thing out of there and to find out what was going on and get that cursed thing from among the people. Stroll up for me. All right, Judges 19, verse 9 through 10. Stroll up a little more. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine, And the servant, watch this one. This was going to be a cold cut. And his servant and his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, behold, now the day draweth towards evening. I pray that you tarry all night. The day is drawing towards evening. Please stay all night. All right. Behold, the day, what? Groweth to an end. Lodge here that thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow get ye early on your way, that thou mayest go home. Now it said, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray that you tarry all night. The day is growing to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow early you shall go home. But the man would not tarry all night. The man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed and came over against Jebus, which is in Jerusalem, and there are his 2 asses and his concubine. So he didn't stay that night. So we see that that night wasn't tomorrow. It wasn't the next day. That night was still the day that draw toward evening. That was still the same night. He didn't stay that night. He left. So that's showing that that wasn't a new day. That night didn't start a new day. Let's look at Numbers 9:15. And on the day the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony. At even, there was the tabernacle that appeared upon fire until the morning. So it was always heavy. It was always the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Jonah chapter 4, verse 7. But God prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote and the guard that it withered. All right, so that worm ate that plant early in the morning the next day. All right, seeing again that morning establishing the next day. Can you stroll up a little bit for me? Next slide. All right, we see David and Gideon, 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 10. And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with a javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence. He smote the javelin into the wall. David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning. All right, he sent messengers to slay him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. When did Saul send his messengers to slay him? In the morning. We just seen that, to watch him and to slay him in the morning. David's wife tells him, listen, if you don't save your life tonight, then tomorrow you gonna be dead in the morning. Judges chapter 6, verse 37. Watch Gideon and his test. He wanted to test the Most High to make sure he was gonna save Israel. Behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor. If it do be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon the earth, then I shall know that thou shalt save Israel by my hand, and thou hast said, as thou hast said. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow. All right, you talking about morning dew. He rose up early on the morrow. Where we at?
My bad, I have to add the brother back. Go ahead.
Oh, not a problem. All right, it says early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together and wring the dew out of the fleece. So we see he rose up early in the morning, that morning dew. All right, and early on the morrow, we see again that's again establishing that day started in that morrow was the morning. All right. And Gideon said unto the Lord, let not thine anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, that this once with the fleece. Let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon the ground let it be dew. And God said so that night. God said so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on the ground. So how can it still be that same night? Right? Why is it in a new day? Keep strolling up for me. All right, watch this. Don't defraud your neighbor. At this day, Deuteronomy 24:15, at this day thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and set of his heart upon it. lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be a sin unto thee. Let's look at where the law was written in Leviticus 19:13, and we see that the parable of the hires, the parable of the laborers, Shalakia, they were paid on the 12th hour, all right, when that sun was going down. All right, Leviticus 19:13, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that was hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. All right, all night until the morning, because you got to pay that brother that same day that he worked. He gotta be paid, so it can't be there in the morning. Let's go ahead and slow it up for a little bit for me. Leviticus 6:20. This is the offering. I think we read this. Yeah, half in the morning. Mark chapter 4 and verse 35. And the same day when evening was come, he saith unto him, let us pass over. How can it be the same day when evening was come? Because evening is supposed to be a new day. So how can the text say at the same day when evening was come, when that's supposed to initiate the start of a new day? Genesis
2 minutes remaining.
How long we got?
2 minutes remaining.
All right, Genesis 19:32. Come, let us make this is Lot. Come, let us, this is Lot's daughters. Come, let us make our fathers drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. All right, and they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, the firstborn said unto her, now if it's daytime, and she's saying it come to pass on the morrow, that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight. How can you have a yesternight? All right, with my father. Let us come and drink wine this night also. All right, so you seeing this daytime, and she's saying yesternight. All right, let us make him drink wine this night, and go thou in and lie with him and preserve our father's seed. Go ahead and stroll to the last slide for me, since I'm running out of time. I'm gonna go ahead and hit these precepts because I seen the brother throw up that chart. Go ahead to the last slide. He threw up that chart and it kind of helped me. You seen what was going on. You seen Jericho also, another example. Keep going though. Keep going to the last slide. We'll come back on the fire round. We didn't even get to the manna or the curse heat. All right, Matthew chapter 28, verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day, as the sun is rising towards the first day of the week, it is the end of the Sabbath, and the sun is beginning to come up. So how can it be starting? How can it be in the same day when the sun is beginning to come up toward the first day of the week? Look at John chapter 20, verse 1. The first day of the week come of Mary Magdalene early, when it is yet dark. Again, we established morning can be between 3 to 6. And morning is a transitional period. It can still be dark. The sky could be red, etc. And see if the stone taken away, right, from the sepulchre. Watch this now. She see if the stone taken away from the sepulchre early that morning. And then, verse 19, then the same day at evening, the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, there were the disciples were assembled for the fear of the Jews, came Yahushua in the midst.
All right. All right, man. Listen, man, there was some points there. That was solid, bro. Some solid points there. And we have to evaluate these things. And I hope you judges are paying attention, man.
Can you hear me?
We here at the source, we are very meticulous when it comes to our judging and our judging system. We put a lot on them. All right, and we expect a lot from them. So again, I hope you judges are paying attention. All right. We're entering into the bottom of the third. Again, after this, we're going to be transitioning into the question and answer segment. These brothers are going to get to ask each other 3 questions apiece. And they're going to be able to respond. For you debaters, I hope you're formulating your questions, right? I hope you all are formulating your questions so you'll be able to, precisely ask what you want to ask and magnify the points that you want to magnify. All right. So again, everybody that's watching, you're going to get an opportunity to be heard. We want you to cast your votes, right? We want you to cast your votes and let the debaters know and the judges know who you're supporting, and then the judges will make their decision. All right. So, Heathen Slayer, are you ready?
I'm ready and waiting.
I just want to say
man,
this.
look.
I want to say they got
Go
2
ahead,
minutes.
bro.
They have 2 minute response times. 2 minutes to respond. That's your limit.
Right.
That's the sort of format.
Right, on each of the questions. So, yeah, this is your last and final opportunity to present without interruption. So the floor is yours, brother. Time starts when you're ready.
All right. So one thing I want to do is I want to examine Nehemiah. You got the slide up?
Yeah, it's up now.
All right. So Nehemiah chapter 13 and verses 15 through 18. I want to bring up and show something. Now, beginning with verse 15, it says, "In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and lading asses, as also wine, grapes and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this, what ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath." Now, one thing I want to highlight and magnify is the fact that in verse 18, it says, "Did not your fathers thus?" So what is he referring to about your fathers? Nehemiah is actually quoting or referring to the prophet Jeremiah, because Jeremiah came before Nehemiah. So we're going to look at to what Nehemiah was referring to when it says, "Didn't your fathers do this?" All right, and what Nehemiah was contending with. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17, and we're going to look at verses 19 through 27. And it says, "Thus said the Lord, thus the Lord said to me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, by which the kings of Judah come in, and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say to them, Hear the word of the Lord, you kings of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem who enter by these gates." So Nehemiah was in the same manner of Jeremiah. He was by the gates, just like Jeremiah. Let's see here. Going back to Jeremiah, says, "Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem, nor carry a burden, but of your houses on the Sabbath day. Nor do any work, but hallow the Sabbath, as I commanded your fathers. But they did not obey, nor incline their ear, but made their stiff neck, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. And it shall be, if you heed me carefully, say the Lord, to bring no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work in it, Then shall enter the Sabbath, enter the gates of this city, kings and princes sitting on the throne of David, riding in chariots on horses, they and their princes, accompanied by the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And this city shall remain forever. And they shall come from the cities of Judah and from the places around Jerusalem, from the land of Benjamin and from the lowland, from the mountains and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices, grain offerings and incense, bringing sacrifices of praise to the house of the Most High. But if you will not heed me to hallow the Sabbath, such as not carrying a burden when entering the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day,
brother,
then I will kindle a fire.
Brother, you're supposed to be asking him a question. You're supposed to be
No, this is bottom background.
Jeremiah, didn't you just say this is the Q&A?
Nah,
No,
this
that's
is
the
last
bottom
round.
of his round.
No, this is his. He got to do his final round. That Q&A is next, Jastu.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you. Get a brother his time back. I thought he was on the Q&A. My bad, brother.
All right. And the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, when I will kindle a fire in his gates, and I shall devour the place of Jerusalem, it shall not be quenched. So what's going on here? That Nehemiah was referring back to Jeremiah, to the writings of the prophet Jeremiah. All right. So when we dissect this, we got to examine what Jeremiah, what was happening with Jeremiah. Jeremiah said to bring no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, right? And he also said, then shall enter the gates of the city of kings if you hallow the Sabbath, right? So it makes sense when we read Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 18. He says, did not your fathers do thus? And did not our Elohim bring all this disaster on us and on this city? Yet you bring added wrath on Israel by profaning the Sabbath. So Nehemiah's course of action from this point will make a lot of sense when we understand his comments in the proper context. Jeremiah said that the Most High would allow Jerusalem to remain forever if they would keep the Sabbath and forbid the bringing of burdens into the gates of the city, but he would destroy it if they permitted these things. So what does Nehemiah do? In Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 19, so it was at the gates of Jerusalem as it began to be dark before the Sabbath, that I commanded the gates to be shut and charged that they must not be open till after the Sabbath. Then I posted some of my servants at the gates so that no burdens would be brought of the Sabbath. So in Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 19, it states, as it began to be dark before the Sabbath. So how can we just ignore that and make another doctrine up, saying it was sunrise? So let's hey brother Jeremiah, if you can go ahead and move forward in the slides here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. Keith, go past that one. Go past that one. Go past that one. Yeah, go past that one. Let me try to make my point here. So, all right, stop right there. So we know that these Jewish people that so-called call themselves Jews are the synagogue of Satan. But what we see from the Encyclopedia Britannica, that in these imposters' homes, the women of the House of Lights, in the Jewish homes of the women of the house lights white Sabbath candles before sunset on Friday evening and pronounces a benediction. So if these people, even though they're imposters, think in their mind that they are the actual people, when you think that they would try to do the best that they can to follow it, even though that they not. So we see here, even from the encyclopedia, that they follow a sunset on Friday evening. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. So this is concerning Josephus. His report is that a trumpet was blown at the beginning of every Sabbath, which Josephus designated to be in the evening, would historically mark the time when the people should stop working and begin working. Josephus had no reason to lie, and archaeological finds even concur with Josephus's comments about the place of trumpeting. And let's read this. When we excavated the beautifully paved Herodian street adjacent to the southern wall and near the southwestern corner of the enclosure wall, we found a particularly large ashlar block. On the inside was a niche where a man might stand, especially if the ashlar were joined to another, which would enlarge the niche. On the outside was a carefully and elegantly incised Hebrew inscription. And it says, and it read, to the place of the trumpeting to declare. If the restoration of the world, declare, is correct, the rest of the missing part of the inscription probably went on to tell us more about the stone, the declaring of the beginning and the end of the Sabbath. The stone had been toppled during the Roman destruction of the temple onto the street below, where it had lain for nearly 2,000 years until we uncovered it. It must have originally come from the pinnacle of the southwestern corner of the Temple Mount. From a spot on top of the temple chambers, a priest would blow a trumpet on Sabbath's eve to announce the arrival of the Sabbath and the cessation, which is the stop of all labor, and to announce on the following evening the departure of the Sabbath and the resumption of all labor. The entire city was visible from this spot on the northwestern corner of the Temple Mount. The clarion call of the trumpet would reach the farthest markets of the city. Such a scene is recounted by Josephus in his work. Right? And all right, and brother, go ahead and go to the skip the next slide and go to the next one. Go past that one. Right there. So one thing I want to show in this map, these are different nations which call what we call Saturday Shabbat or some derivative of it. As you can see on this map, there's imprints where Israel have been over time. You see Northeast Africa, where we were. We see the land, what they call the Middle East. You see during the Dark Ages too, where we were in like Greece and Rome and things like that. That imprint there, and then of course, Northern Kingdom. When they came to the Americas, you see it's all green there. So it says in the dark green, nations where Saturday and Sabbath are synonymous in primary language spoken. And then you see where they, checkered or striped. It says the U.S. where Spanish is the primary or secondary language for approximately 45 million people. And we know that one of the Northern Kingdom was in Americas as well. So this further shows that the Sabbath, the Shabbat, from sunset to sundown, as my presentation shows, and this is just to show that it's been around in different areas of the world. And with that, I yield my time.
All right. All right. Can you all hear me?
Come.
All right, man. So we're going to be transitioning into the question and answer segment from the debaters. I want you judges to be paying very close attention, and those that are in the audience to be paying very close attention to this next segment of this debate. All right. So Phinehas, you went first. So we're going to let the brother ask you his question first. You got 2 minutes to answer whatever question he decides to ask you. All right.
All right.
What I'm gonna
So
do, I'm gonna drop everybody in the back room, so these brothers will be on screen by themselves. All right.
all right. All right. So my question to you, brother, is in Exodus 12, all right, when it talks about the when it talks about Passover um being passing at being at night, where would you get sunrise in a case like this? Exodus 12 talked about Passover.
Well, Exodus 12, Passover is going to be done at night because that's when the
Mhm.
Most High passed over. It's a remembrance of him, the death angel passing over us. That's why it's called Passover. And verse 42 tells you that this is a night to be observed. All right, this is a night to be observed. And so this is why this particular feast day, because we're observing the fact that the death angel passed over us. All right, because we put that blood down on those side posts, and so that's when that should be celebrated. All right, to celebrate or to commemorate the fact that the Most High had that death angel pass over us. So it took place at night. Therefore, the Most High wanted us to celebrate it at night and reenact it again, talking about us eating the Passover in haste and having our staff and our flip flops ready to go, etc. So that will be my answer to that.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. So it's your turn now, Phinehas.
All right. So again, you went to the gates. I really didn't get my problem with the gates. I think you went to the gates to establish because the gates closed at evening, and we seen that evening was still before the Sabbath. My question would be, is that is that just something that Israel did? And if so, could you exegete Joshua chapter 2 verse 5?
Okay, give me just a second. Chapter 2, verse 5. Okay, so are you asking, is that a custom that only Israel did as far as um as far as going in at night when it comes to the
Yeah, at
Sabbath?
closing the gate. Is this like a unique custom that Israel's doing because they closing the gate to keep the Sabbath, to keep people from coming in for and selling on the Sabbath? Is only Israel doing
Okay.
this, or are they just closing the gate because it's dark and that's when you would close the gate?
Okay. All right. So what I read and understand is, yes, they were told to close the gates so they would not break the Sabbath, right? Because we weren't supposed to buy or sell or things like that. So if we kept it open, that would allow the merchants that would be traveling all night to set up shop and influence Israel to purchase and engage in those activities. So it was told to close the gates so we would not be persuaded to take part in those activities, buying and selling things like that.
And
So
can
and I
can
see.
oh Shalaki, go ahead.
So when I
still
see
want you
in
to
Josh,
exegete that Joshua 2:5 for me.
that's what I'm going now.
Come, apologize.
Right. So Joshua chapter 2 and verse 5, it says, and it came to pass about the time of shutting the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out, whither the men, when I wot not, pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. So even though the gates were closed, they were shut, the men that went out were in error. They were in error. That's why it says at the end, for ye shall overtake them. So it wasn't something that that we were supposed to, but we still had some knuckleheads that wanted to do what they wanted to do. And if that was the case, then there's consequences.
All right, that was just 2 minutes. It's your question, Phinehas. I mean,
No, it's his question.
He's enslaved. He's enslaved.
All right. Let me go right here. All right. Dang it, I just had it. Salakia. All right. Well, pertaining to the to the sunrise, going back to Genesis. I know that you had in the beginning you were going over a few things about I can't recall it accurately, so you're gonna have to correct me on that, about when during creation, about the day actually being the starting point instead of night. I like I said, I may be misquoting you. Forgive me if I do, but could you expound on that?
Yes, I established that by first establishing that Yahweh in John 1 verses 1-3, that Yahweh, through him all things were created. All right. And then I went to John 9:4, where Yahweh is saying, I must do the works of him who sent me while it is still day. Night cometh where no man can do any work. Now, this is spiritual work that Yahweh is talking about. And we know that the creation process was also spiritual work. And so that was done in the daytime. And then came evening, and then came morning, and that was the first day. All the creation was done in the daytime. Once there was light, the creation was done, and then evening. You can't have evening without an ounce of light. You need light for evening because it's a transitional period. And then morning came, and that was the first day. So the creation process, and you go all the way down to the seventh day, when it says in evening and morning, where the sixth day, it says evening, he rested.
Okay.
I mean, Shalaki,
So
it said the seventh day he rested. My bad, Shalaki. It said
right.
the seventh
So
day he rested.
okay. So do you need if Christ is a light, do you need any other light to create?
Through everything that through Christ, everything was created.
Right. But if Christ is a light, do you need any other light to create?
He is the light that created.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand the sun wasn't even created yet.
Okay. But going back to Genesis, right? There was a greater light and a lesser light.
Right.
Right. And then light was separated from darkness, right?
Light was separated from darkness before the sun was up. Light was separated from darkness in verse 4.
Exactly. So my point is if the sun and the moon were created later, what light was separated from the darkness?
Yahweh. He was the first creation. We went to Colossians chapter 3, verse 15. And we seen, or Shalaki, maybe 1:15, where we seen that Yahweh was the light. All right. And he was the first creation.
Right. So with him being the first creation, we still see, like, even in verse 5, it was light, he called the light day and the darkness night, but there was no sun or moon, but there were evening, then the morning.
Right. But the
So
evening,
where,
go ahead, Shalaki.
right? So where do we get the ideology of the sunrise? Where does that come into play when we in breaking this down?
Because if we say evening starts at 6 p.m. and we say morning starts at 6 a.m., that's only 12 hours of complete darkness. So you have to give me, where is the other 12 hours at? That was during the creation process in the daytime.
Well, yeah, we go from that standpoint. We going from a man or a man standpoint, but we're not looking into the actual creational aspect, knowing that day is 12 hours and night is 12 hours.
So
So
what
there
is
wouldn't
evening and
be
morning? If day is 12 hours and
Mhm.
night is 12 hours, what is evening and morning?
it kind of goes into what you were alluding to earlier, transitions.
Okay. Oh,
But
transition.
there's still 12-hour periods, night and day,
You
12-hour
saying
period.
right. So what is evening and morning?
Transitional periods, like you were saying.
Between what?
Twilight. You got
Between
day.
twilight?
No, listen. I misspoke just now. So Salakia. So you have day, and then you have a transitioning over to the new day, right? So
Okay.
that in between time, that time where there's when it's not light, there's no sun, and it's not dark. That's twilight. That's the transitioning over to a new day.
Is that evening or is that morning?
That's gonna be evening.
So evening is the twilight when it's complete
Yeah.
darkness.
No, that's when it's already in that day. Twilight is when it's light out, but there's no sun and it's not dark.
You said twilight is when it's night out and it's no sun.
No, I'm saying twilight is when it's light out. There's no sun and it's not dark.
Twilight is not dark at twilight.
No, it's transitioning over into that darkness.
So twilight is in between the day and the night.
Yeah.
It's twilight evening.
It's transitioning over into the evening.
So what is night?
Night is the 12-hour portion when it's dark.
And evening and night is the same thing?
Yeah, evening is encompassed in night. Yeah.
Evening, is it the same thing? Is night encompassed in evening?
Depending on the context, it can be. It could be used interchangeably.
All right. Do I get to ask my question?
Yes, yeah, go ahead, brother.
All right. So I think the question before I ask you to exegete the Joshua 2:5, that was really two spies from Israel that went in, and that was actually a heathen culture that they were closing the gates, and Rahab hid those two spies at the closing of the gate. That had nothing to do with Israel. I only brung that out to show that Israel, you close the gates at night, not just Israel, but everybody who has gates close them at night. Can you exegete, or can you just tell me what does it mean to dawn toward the next day, or to dawn toward Tuesday? What does that mean? To dawn toward Tuesday.
That is growing lighter towards that day.
Towards a new day? Or like it's Wednesday and it's dawning toward Thursday. What does that mean?
That is growing lighter to the day portion.
All right, that was my question.
All right, so brothers got one more round of questions, I believe that's it, though.
Come.
All right. All right, man. All right. So now we're finna go to. I'm gonna bring you judges back. Bring the judges back in here. While I'm doing that, everyone in the audience, everyone that is watching, it's your time to speak. Let your voice be heard. All right. I want you to put a number 1 in the chat for our brother Phinehas. A number 1 in the chat if you believe and agree that the daytime or the Sabbath starts at sunrise. All right. I want you to put a number 2 in the chat for our brother Heathen Slayer. A number 2 in the chat if you agree with him that based upon the information they presented, that the Sabbath starts at sunset. A number 2 for the Sabbath starts at sunset. A number 1 if the Sabbath starts when the sun rises. All right, let your voices be heard. All right. All right. All right. So, Joshua, man, talk to me, family. What's going on, brother? You on mute?
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Shout out to both brothers. Coming in and having this little sparring session tonight on this subject. You know what I'm saying? Takes a lot of testicular fortitude, like we like to say at the source, to actually show up and do live debates, man. So, you know what I'm saying? You judges, you guys know what's expected of y'all. So, judge it based on the criteria that was showed tonight. Material by both brothers. Both brothers did a good job presenting. And let's get it, man.
Hey, man, the chat is lighting up. Joshua was lighting up, brother. All right. All right, man. So now's the time. We're going to go to the first judge. We're going to let to the law and to the testimony. If you speak not according to these words, that means there's no light in you. Pro Rizzo, talk to us, family.
All right, folks. This was a long, drudgy debate, folks. I'm telling you. When I mean drug, I mean y'all was digging with the plow. Y'all really was. Y'all definitely have dug all through the law and the testimony and some New Testament scriptures. So without further ado, let me get right into it. First thing is, excellent presentation, boys. Y'all presentations was really, 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 really well put together. You both get points for that. In your first round, Brother Andre, Brother Phinehas, I give you both points for that. Y'all are on equal ground, equal footing, equal argument, because you were building. So, equal rounds, points. Round 2 brought something that I wasn't really expecting. I will tell you that y'all did a lot of scriptural machine gunning. What I call scriptural machine gun. You hit us with a lot of verses. I want to ask y'all both something. Why didn't you give us the definition of Sabbath? Something for y'all to think about maybe in your next debate. But you didn't give us that. Y'all gave us day, you gave us Woka, you gave us Leil, you gave us Hamera from the Greek. You both did good, but you never did define the word yom. So I want to tell you, Sabbath means rest. So one of my questions was, when is the biblical Sabbath beginning? Or when does God rest start? That's something for you to put in your crawl.
Right.
Neither one of you defined that. Neither one of you defined it. You don't lose points for that, but it would have certainly brought clarity to your arguments. Jubilees was an interesting point. I don't subscribe to Jubilee. However, when it was brought up, it says from the setting of the sun. That was the point out of Jubilees. The other point, there was a note about the quails. That was a bit of a straw man about the quails. I didn't see the relevance there, and there was several verses like that throughout y'all debates. When you rewind this, you'll see there was no relevant points about many of these verses, even though it might have talked about day and evening and night. But to get to the actual verse in round 2, it's and even in the Q&A, the one verse that stood out about all the other verses was this verse. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded the gates that they should be shut and charged that they should not be open till after Sabbath. And some of my servants said I at the gate that there should be no burden brought on the Sabbath day. Okay, I need to ask one question. Who was the one who brought this verse out? Speak up.
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it again?
That was me.
That was Brother Andre, wasn't it? That was the verse that proved your argument. Because that's what the prophet said. That is the same thing that Genesis says. And the evening and the morning was the first day. That was the qualifying point, and that's what won you my vote. The last little comment, one last comment. just to note, when you're using a lot of verses, make sure you completing the thought of your point of the debate. You want to always do that. And don't just define some of the words, define everything. That brings you clarity and it makes your argument stronger. I have a lot here written, but I just want to get to the point for the sake of time. So Andre, great job. Both of y'all did great. But Andre, you definitely have earned a vote from that Nehemiah verse. For Rizzo 1, to the law and to the testimony, I'm off the mic.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Pro Rizzo, man, taking out the time, man, to judge this debate. I'm gonna hold my comments for after the judgment. So we're gonna go to the next person. The middleweight champion, the Texas Rattlesnake. Talk to me, family. Talk to me nice. You're on mute. Shout out LV, man. Europa TV, man. King Seth. All right. We're gonna move over to Jihad. Talk to me, family.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say both of these guys, they, put in a lot of work, and I paid attention to it, and I approached it as if I never heard of the Sabbath and never knew what it was, and it was my first time in going by the information. And to me, it seems like that it was a debate about what time day and night started. It was a debate about what time the Passover of unleavened bread started. Then they went into 2 days and 3 days instead of is the Sabbath at sunset or at sunrise when it starts. And to me, it seemed like the argument was not. The debate was not about that. Going from there. I know what I think it is, but I didn't put that in no kind of way. Like I say, I approached it as if I never heard of the Sabbath. And to me, it seemed like it was just a debate about what time day and night and twilight and all that stuff start. So I'm going to have to just call it a draw. Because neither one really told me or convinced me what time Sabbath started. Sound like to me it was a debate about what time day started, what time night started. So I'm going to just call it a draw.
Damn. Jihad, man, what the hell's going on, man? Come on, Jihad, man. You got to make a decision, brother.
Man, they didn't convince me. I approached it as if I've never heard of.
We do have.
Okay, because to me, all right, look.
We do have. Three
okay, it seems like to me that Brother Phinehas was more on that the Sabbath start in the morning. Okay, and what's the other brother?
Brother Andre.
He's a slayer. He's a slayer.
Right.
Yeah. And you say put a 1 in the chat for Phinehas.
Phinehas.
If you feel like Phinehas. If you feel like the Sabbath started at night. But it sounded like to me Phinehas was saying that the Sabbath started in the day.
No, he
and
did.
Vice versa.
That is his stance. That's Phinehas' stance that the Sabbath starts at sunrise.
Okay, well, see, I had got the opposite from him. That's what I'm saying. I got the opposite from both of them because I approached it as if, I didn't know nothing about the Sabbath.
Right.
Yes.
All right, man. That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, King Seth. Where the hell is King Seth at, man? Joshua, man, say something, bro.
All right, man. It's coming down to the wire. It's getting hot in here, man. It's getting real hot. You know what I'm saying? One judge has Dre winning. The other judge is undecided. So that's right now we waiting on the third and final judge to adjudicate. I just want to congratulate you, brothers. No matter what the third judge says, I'm proud of y'all because y'all came out and y'all was bold, man. You guys are bold. You guys were warriors. Y'all stood on y'all word and stood on y'all swear, and I always respect brothers that do that. So I just want to give a shout out to y'all real quick, man, on that in that regard. Other than that, man, I just take some time out. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the judges that took the time out to come out and actually watch this debate and adjudicate. Shout out to the audience as well. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Source Debate League on YouTube. And I hope you two brothers, this is not the last time we see you guys getting in the ring, man, because it's important that you challenge yourself, challenge others, information. We don't want to be stagnated, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, the brother left. I'm trying to buy my brother time so we get the final judge.
All right.
Anyway, I guess we lost one of the judges.
I could go through, but I don't know how this was a very even Steven debate. It really was.
Very, very close debate. Very close debate.
They again equal footing, equal digging. Yes, evening, morning, are transitional. Loving the Q&A round where the question is asked night. However, again, this is a subject where a lot of people have contention about because they get into this whole day and night thing. But Nehemiah does point out in exact terms, emphatically. But want to get King Seth on this.
Who was the backup? The backup judge was Lance. Where is he?
Let me see real quick, man.
Yeah, call Lance. I'm gonna just hold us over until we can get the final judge because it's on the wire right now. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if King Self. Did you call King Self's cell phone?
I called him.
Oh, okay. And let's see. That's good. Yeah, it's kind of neck and neck in the comments too. It's kind of like I see twos, I see ones, I see twos.
Yep.
One sister said 1 and 2. Yeah. So she got it as a draw.
She was a dog.
Yeah. She said 1 and 2. Yeah, so it might be down the middle. But if we can't get a third judge, we might tally this up and let the crowd vote be the third judge. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, because I don't know where Lance is supposed to be our backup tonight. He not in the audience. So, but it might. It look like y'all got the same amount of votes. If I'm about to tally this
man,
up.
let's go ahead and tally it up, man. Because listen,
I'm counting 8-6.
We don't have.
This is the first one.
Go ahead.
That's one. So I need you to write it down for me. That's one.
Aquaforce.
Rep ENT said one. Which one's one? Is that Phinehas?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So K Possible said two. So that's Andre. Tanya Yasharahla said one. Sons of Jacob said two.
Cast your votes, family.
Brother Diaz says two. Evan Mofet says one. So what are we at now before I continue?
4 and 4.
What you got, Don?
4 and 4.
4 and 4.
Man, y'all might tie this thing up. This thing is Simon the Atheist Killer said two.
Cast your votes, family. Your voice needs to be heard right now.
Lady Culture said draw.
So we got 2 draws so far.
Sons of Jacob OKC says two. Tassel Gang says one.
Wow.
Israel Now Cincinnati says one. The House Servant says one. So James Griffin, one is Phinehas. Hey, don't be in there. Don't vote more than once, man. Don't
right,
get on
man. Some people trying to get in there getting multi votes up in there.
Let me make sure Charles Carter didn't vote twice. Did I mention Charles Carter?
No.
You voted twice, brother. You said up here Phinehas. Okay, that's one for him. We see you. James Griffin says one. And that's it. I don't know who this is. On Facebook. Yeah, who is that?
I don't know who the Facebook user is.
Where are we at now? What's the tally? Oh, come on, Don. Don't make me go from the top again and start all over, brother.
I'm sorry, they re-voted. It was my last count was 9 and in favor for Phinehas. 9-6. Phinehas
Phinehas, you won. Vote.
We've got more people voting now. And then we look like we have some repeat votes.
All right, let me go over it again. Let's go over it one more time.
Let's do it again.
From the top. Aquaforce is one.
All right.
Rep ENT is one. K Possible is two. Yasharahla is one. Sons of Jacob OKC is two. DS is two. Evan Mofet is one. Simon is two. And of course, the sister, Lady Culture, is a draw. Sons of Jacob is two. Wait, hold on. Did he go twice?
Yeah, we already counted him.
Stop doing that, man. One time you can.
These guys, yeah, thank y'all for making this difficult. I appreciate it.
Come on, man.
Very difficult.
That's all right. Let's keep it moving.
Tassel Gang is one. Israel Now Cincinnati is one. The House Servant is one. Hey, Hebrews in the Hood. Are you saying
Oh my God.
stop doing that?
Yo, we gotta put a call in
They games on the back in
We
this
gotta
chat.
get him on the program, man.
But this is confusing because he's saying, Mikael, are you saying that the day starts at evening? Because if you're saying the day starts at evening, you meant to put a number 2 in there. I don't understand what this comment is. Are you? Oh, brother. I don't know what to say about it. What you think about that, Jeremiah? Should that be counted towards
I
Phinehas?
don't know. Let me ask Phinehas. What do you think about that, Phinehas?
You can give it to him. You know, like I say, I'm not here to win no debate.
No, I think you want. I think you got the popular vote. It seems that way.
Popular vote so far.
Yeah, you ahead right now.
All right. So Hebrews in the Hood.
They go to Heathen Slayer.
So Hebrews in the Hood. Yeah, they go to Heathen because that's what he's saying.
Right.
Okay. Saint Merkai says number 2. And Nikki Lane, Don is not debating. I don't know why you said that, man. Y'all got to get it together, man.
No, they shouting me out.
Hey, Don, it got to be the first time we got to vote, and you wasn't even debating, brother. You a bad man.
James Griffin says 1, and Charles Carter says 1.
We already did James Griffin.
I mean, Phinehas is in the head in the popular vote.
Yeah.
Right. So you got the third vote. You got the third vote.
You got 11.
So this is dead even then.
It's 7-11 with a draw.
So it's a one draw, 1 vote for Phinehas, and 1 vote for Dre. This is a draw.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's still ahead. We've got a vote in here by the work wife from Atlanta, the housewife of Atlanta. She votes twice. That would be 12.
And then 1 more for
that would bring this total to 8.
So there's no winner to this debate. This is a draw.
Right. We have 1 vote for Heathen Slayer, 1 vote for Phinehas, and then we got a draw. So it's a draw, man. Damn, man. I can't stand draws, man.
It's a stalemate. Y'all better stalemate each other, man.
Yeah, we definitely have a stalemate with that. So
yeah, y'all just made source history.
Yep.
First stalemate.
Unanimous stalemate. Well, folks,
I
think
what
done.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna load up the van, and we're gonna take a trip down to Dallas, Texas, and we're gonna tell King Seth to come on outside. We're gonna pick up stones, okay?
Yep. and make sure we turn them upside down so we get our $5.
Yeah. We don't appreciate you belling, but I'm glad that the audience got to participate, man. This was the people got to speak, man. All praise and glory, man. We're gonna have to run this back, Phinehas. I know this is something that's on your heart, bro. And I know it's a part of your ministry. So we try to make it as fair as possible. I pray that you felt you was fairly treated. You understand? And we're gonna have to revisit this, man.
Amen.
We'll talk more in the back chat concerning it. All right. If you have any last words for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. I just want to thank the Source Debate League. I want to thank Israel for listening in again. I didn't come to win a debate. I just came for Israel to open their ears, to open the dialogue back up on this particular topic, because it's a lot of things that we just think that we have hammered down, and it's a lot of things that we agree on, the majority agrees on, so it doesn't get questioned, it doesn't get brought back up. And to bring the word out again. I did this for Israel, for them to look at it, for camps to come in and look at it and try to address some of these things that we deal with, for it to come down to the closing of the gates. Even if for me that's a success, because we knocked down Genesis, we knocked down Day of Atonement, and so for us to be at Nehemiah, that's the last stronghold. We knocked down Nehemiah again. We went to that Joshua 2 to show that the heathens also closed their gates at night also. into and just the fact that it says even before the Sabbath, meaning when evening came, it still wasn't the Sabbath yet. For it to come down to that, you know what I'm saying, I'm grateful, and all praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, for giving me the spirit and putting it, giving us the spirit to have this debate, have a cordial debate. And that's what I'm saying. We have to do these things. We have to start questioning these doctrines.
That's right, brother.
There's a lot of things, and they gotta hold up. They gotta hold up, and that's why.
Phinehas, they said that we wasting time by doing these debates, man.
Nah, it gotta be out there. It gotta be done, brother. Because this is why, you know what I'm saying, we got people doing lunar say, like, we still got to get to, we got to deal with this. We got to draw this. We still got to do it lunar Sabbath and the Sabbath being interchangeable. We still got to knock that down. So when we done with this, I got to knock that down. So, you know what I'm saying?
We do got a lunar Sabbath brother on board too. That'll probably take you up on that. That'll probably be another powerful one that you can be involved in, man, if you want to. The lunar.
So yeah, we still had to we just had to, these doctrines got to stand up. If it is the truth, it's gonna stand up, it's gonna stand strong. And Israel is kind of on the fence on these things. And again, like the evening to evening just wasn't questioned. When I came in, I didn't question it. You hit them first couple precepts I heard, I said, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I never questioned it until I questioned it. Then things didn't kind of add up to me. But again, we got to have these dialogues, and these dialogues for Israel just to see if it holds up to be true. And again, man, I thank the brother Andre for being, you know what I'm saying, you know, a worthy, I ain't gonna say opponent, but you know what I'm saying, to have the dialogue, to have the discourse,
right.
You know what I'm saying, within the text, man. Salute to that brother. And again, salute to the judges also. I don't feel any kind of way about the situation. Again, you know, you felt what you felt. If it didn't convince you, it didn't convince you. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? And even in my ministry, I'm not here to convince. I'm not here to force nobody, no doctrine. All right. If it don't sit, it don't sit. I'm just a vessel to rightly divide the word to the best of my ability. All right. So I don't force anything on no one, or try to force nobody to be here. You know what I'm saying? I know my lot. Whatever my lot, that's my lot. And I don't worry about anybody leaving or anybody, you know what I'm saying, coming. You know, a lot of times it come for other reasons anyway. But for the most part, man, I want to thank all Israel. Thank you. Thank the judges. Thank you, brothers on the panel. And Jeremiah. Jeremiah. Did you have Yahoo on there before?
I did.
Okay,
I had to get away from the modern world.
Right. I got you. Here, my y'all, man. I appreciate you. You know, Scholastic, Bully, King Self, Rizzo, and Jahid. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all time. Because it does take time to come out here and do this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? You take time out your day to establish this thing, man. And you know what I'm saying? Brothers ain't getting paid, brothers ain't getting no chill. You know what I'm saying? Still take time out your day to do these things away from your family, etc. And if ain't nobody else appreciate it, I'm appreciative of y'all brothers. All right, with that, I'm gonna say,
man, we appreciate that sincerely, man. Heathen Slayer, man, talk to the people, man. You got you a draw, brother. First draw in the Source Debate League history, man. We only been operating for a year. You understand? So the first draw we had, though. Talk to us, Heathen Slayer.
Hey, man, it was a good build. You know, shout out to Phinehas, man, and you know, it's always good to have a different perspective on things. That's what I tend to do. It's my first debate. I'm just glad for the Source debate making that all possible. Look to be a part of more debates in the build,
right.
and to bring different viewpoints, question things like the brother was saying that hasn't been questioned, and to make sure that we in the right spirits and doing what we can to build Israel up. So I'm just humbled and thankful, and glad to be with some like-minded brothers, and look to build with those with different viewpoints. It's all up.
Hey, Heathen Slayer, they say that it's a waste of time to do these debates, man. What would your response be to that?
I don't think so.
Right.
Because, you know, it's like with anything, you got to talk about it.
Right.
And if you don't talk about it, then some things may go unspoken. I mean,
Right.
it's like even with relationships, you got to talk to your partner. So if you don't, some things may go for years and fester and build and grow. So, we don't. That's where the saying goes: iron sharpens iron. We got to
That's right.
talk about it. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So, I think people who say that don't want to get rattled and in a complacent spot in their life, and
Right.
don't want they doctrine or their viewpoint to be rattled.
Right. Right. Yeah, the Bible says in the multitude of counselors, there's safety, man. Right.
Yeah.
But we always going to seek out. The scripture also says, "Know them that labor amongst you." So we're coming together, man, and we're creating an atmosphere, a healthy atmosphere where brothers can dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Bring forth their energy, bring forth their strong spirit, but in a controlled environment, man. So I think it's healthy for men to be doing this than running around here talking about who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. You understand? Right?
That's right. That's right. But it's a good spirit, amongst these brothers, and like I said, I look forward to be a part of some more.
That's right, man. That's right, man. We're going to keep rocking and rolling over here at the source, man. We're doing our thing, Joshua, man. The source, we working over here, man. We don't know about them other brothers, but we working over here, right? Talk to me, Joshua. You there? Talk to me nice, brother. Shout out to LV Europa. All right, I guess the brother stepped away. Pro Rizzo.
You talking to me, brother?
Yeah, man. Talk to me nice, brother. Shout out to LV Europa.
Hey, man, shout out to LV. I got you. We can play one of the songs at the end. My bad. I had to go do something real quick. Hey, man, like I said, great debate, brothers. It's good that you brothers had the fortitude to come up here and put your information on the line and challenge information. So that's what we're encouraging here at the source. We're trying to cultivate that culture where brothers get off behind that keyboard, man. Y'all brothers wearing them keyboards out, man. I promise you, them buttons are starting to fall off them keyboards. I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at Facebook groups. Y'all turn them keyboards up.
Right.
I see whole essays and paragraphs in there going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, I appreciate every one of y'all. Appreciate the judges that came through, and especially our audience, because without y'all, we wouldn't be. Source gang. Let's get it.
That's right, man. So if you want to support the league, man, right, you can hit the cash out, man. $5, $10 go a long way, man, for brothers that's trying to build. Right, we got the constant things that we're paying for. You can also support the league by buying the Source Debate League T-shirts that we have readily available. Right, remember to support Motivated Focus, Garments of Vengeance. Right, this is what we're here for, man, to serve the community. Right, LV, man, do you got LV's music video, Joshua? Send it to Joshua real quick, LV.
I got it. I got one up right now.
Okay. All right, man. So, listen, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We working over here at the source, man. Stay tuned for more debates to come, right? More debates to come, man. We got another one next week, man. The Scholastic Bully will be back in action, right? The middleweight champion will be back in action. Pro Rizzo 1 will be back in action, right? So, we working over here, man. Shout out to the board. Shout out to the SUC, man. Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas, right? Shout out to the tanks on the ground, man. That's what we about over here, man. Yo, Joshua, talk to me nice.
Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Hey, y'all know what I'm going to do next week. Hey, Greg, if you don't show this time, I might have to come to Chicago and find you, brother. We going to prove Abraham next week, man. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. I'll just take out this time to thank the family. Hey, shout out to my brothers LV, Firehouse Reasonings.
That's
Y'all
right,
putting in that work, man. We see you. We see you.
Europa on TV. Log in, tap in. I woke up with a particular vibe. I'm at a crossroad with a message in disguise. There's a change on the horizon. You'll get it when you climb. There's a level to a level. Many levels in the mind. Transform into a state that's optimal and prime. Engaging interference intervenes with your incline. Divided and divine. Divides a scheme to the pride with the creator gave it all. Many fall with they shine just to be a future light. For the lost and the blind. If I had to look back, my impact is on time. In a world where they don't know I is not myself and I know why. We headed to the world but we don't go by falsehood. Lies from old mixed with the new shit. Debauchery. Evil that no one know what to do with. Who's stopping me? My focus is still on monogamy. Dedicated on one task. Still love is a monopoly. This the way it is, not the way that it gotta be. Europa Report TV, man. Stop playing. I went to bed with a particular feeling. The cops stopped patrolling. The hood stopped drilling. Mamas didn't lose their daughters. Fathers still love their children. Respect at the forefront for all of us building. Principles to reinstate what never was, but always willing. With a force so compelling, you can tell by the healing. No heathen comprehends the shape of my tetrahedron. I was breathing different life. I told my wife I'm in the season. What the greatest shall return, even the best of look decent. It's far beyond time, even the older look recent. And the newer look newer. And you should've looked sooner. There's a seed in your spirit, never mind a late bloomer. I was stepping in the truth. And shooters, bust maneuvers, puffing hookah till I fell in the manure. So my own stripes away just to pay the connoisseurs. My death creates life in the depths of the sewer. Catch the Uber with the Ruger, kept me safe from my medulla. Hallelujah to my daddy, but only my mama knew ya. But I still love you the same, and you know I'm coming through ya. You're a diamond in the ring of life, praise to the jeweler.
Yeah, talk to me nice.
Facebook, YouTube. Check us out, Europa Report TV. Over Europa. Airtight TV.
Yeah, man. Shout out to LP, man. Very talented brother.
LP, man, Europa TV, man. Go over there and subscribe to the brother, man. Right? So with that being said, man, peace to the family. We always gonna source up or shut up. It's not a debate. It's a stick up. Yeah. 7 games.
We out, man. SUC in the building. Source up. Hit that like button. We out. We're gonna be back tomorrow. We're going live every day. We doing it. We doing it, man. We doing it. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Chill.